Hey, what's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, coming at you with another video. Actually, it's Xbox Nation, and it is a beautiful Wednesday. Hopefully, you guys are all enjoying E3. If you guys didn't know, Rand Al Thor, our resident Xbox Jesus, busted that 1 million gamer score mark yesterday. That's so obviously he's not going to be here. But he was on Xbox Live Daily Show. And that was pretty cool. He was on there yesterday. Did a really good job breaking that 1 million mark with Ori and the Blind Forest. We do have Iron Wolf here. What's up?
Hey, what up, man?
We have Hellhammer here. What's up?
Not much.
He's like, I'm tired. I want to watch Metallica and build my PC.
I can build that while I'm talking, dude. No problem.
Okay. Don't do that though, because we need your focus. You've got the mind, you've got the tech mind that we need for all this stuff we're gonna delve into. And we got GKB. What's up, bro?
What's up, Crap? How's it going, man? Ready to talk some E3, bro.
Oh yeah. And we have your wife, She Wolf. What's up? Huh. High and dry, She Wolf.
Nothing.
Sorry, I muted. GKB said something earlier, and I muted to answer him, and then I guess I didn't unmute.
Okay. I was like, she's leaving me high and dry here, pretty bad.
The funny part, I was talking too. I'm like, oh, I'm eating an IC, and then it's like, oh, everyone's like, hello. It's like, oh wow, okay, my bad.
Yeah. So, how you doing?
Not too bad. Had a crazy last few days with all the E3s, rumors either being true, not being true, people's dreams getting crushed and destroyed or not, so it's interesting.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's very, very interesting. I enjoyed the E3 festivities quite a bit. Well, for the most part. It started off kind of slow on Sunday, but they really picked up on Monday. Let's talk a little bit about some of the disappointments, and I hear some feedback in somebody's mic. Like, am I too loud or something? I don't know, but I hear an echo. Hello?
I don't hear anything.
Yo.
Okay, well, I got supersonic hearing, trust me. I hear when motherfuckers, mess with their headsets too much and shit. I can hear it. Hello?
What do you hear?
I hear myself.
Maybe it's you.
I hear it a little bit, but me and GKB were both muted when you were talking, so it's not either of us. It's called an echo.
It might be Iron Wolf.
I don't think it's me.
No? Huh. Well, okay. It's probably not that big a deal. It's just
It sounds like a bird in the background a little bit.
Yeah.
Should we just everyone mute and see who it is?
Yeah, everybody mute real quick except for me because I'm going to keep talking. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? I think it's She Wolf. Hello? Hello? Who's there? Okay, now Iron Wolf, hop back in. Iron Wolf, unmute your mic. Let me see. It's Iron Wolf. Yeah, because I can hear it when Iron Wolf unmuted. So. Yep. It's Iron Wolf. Exposed.
Somebody has that.
Can't be me.
Somebody has that PS4 little earbud headset plugged in.
It sounds like double me or whatever. I mean, it's no big deal, but
Oh, let me just turn down the volume then.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
How
that's
about
interesting. Hello. Yeah, that's better.
So breaking into bad things that didn't happen, I didn't get my damn Elite headset.
You didn't get an Elite headset. Not everybody can get what they want, but sometimes you get what you need. I think the Rolling Stones said that.
Well, I didn't get my new IP, so it's pretty.
You know what?
about
Hey,
that.
I thought that we were gonna get a new IP as well, and we didn't get that. I was like 95% right with my prediction video. The two things that I got wrong, or three things, was I said there would probably be a new IP, that we'd get
And no Scorpio.
compatible. Well, we didn't get, but again, when I revised my list, I said they wouldn't show anything because it wasn't ready, and I was dead on with that. But anyway, let's start off with some of the EA stuff. Very awful way to start it off.
It was terrible, man. It was a snooze fest.
Yeah, it was like they showed a lot of FIFA. I get it, people like that game or whatever, and that's fine. But everybody really wanted to see the new Star Wars stuff. Everybody really wanted to see the Mass Effect stuff. Poor Jamie Moran. You know, and what did we get? We get nothing. We didn't get anything. You got like people showing like clips and slideshows and developers being like, "Whoa, yeah, we really love Star Wars," or "Yeah, Mass Effect is going to be great."
This is why we want to create a Star Wars game, because we love Star Wars, but then not fucking show anything about Star Wars.
Yeah, so I mean, going around the room, what was your like highs and lows of the EA conference? I would guess that my high would be when it ended, because I was just like, thank God. So go ahead.
You know, I've actually, when I went back to rewatch it to find like all the release dates and everything else like that, the list when I was writing out the games and what they showed was so short that it's literally like, what, 6 things. Titanfall 2, Pro Gaming with Challenges, EA Major and Primary, Mass Effect Andromeda, FIFA 17, which that had to be probably like, other than Titanfall 2, my highlight, just because it was
why
really
was
cute game.
Fee ended up being like a 3D platform that looked the most interesting out of anything they showed.
Yeah, that was the most interesting game they showed, and that was the only game that I was like, aside from like the obvious like Titanfall, that I was like, I might actually buy that.
Titanfall was cool, I guess. I mean, but She-Wolf, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, that's okay. There's only actually 2 left. That's the sad part. It's Star Wars that showed some images and some small video clip, but people standing around a table, and Battlefield 1. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, they saved Battlefield 1 for last. The Star Wars stuff was like, okay, they're like, hey, here's this Star Wars thing, right? 2018, I mean, what are they, like pulling a Sony on us? Come on, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, that's...
Sometime in the future.
Yeah, I think
it's kind of funny, like when they start to show off with somebody coming out on stage and just talking about how cool they are and this, that, and the other. It's not going to be a very good show.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the highlights. Yeah, Titanfall 2 was like awesome. I'm a big Titanfall guy, so I loved it. Battlefield 1 was awesome, and then it just went downhill from there. And I was really expecting some of the sports games to use the Frostbite and really look. Just show us and wow us with, Frostbite looks so amazing, blah, blah, blah. They always tout, like, how graphically impressive this thing is. And then I was just like, it looks just like the last version. Didn't really do much of anything. So it was kind of like, and then they went on to that whole, like, behind-the-scenes Star Wars things, which was a complete letdown. Everybody wanted to see, like, the Amy Hennig game and all that kind of stuff and what Respawn was working on for the Star Wars thing, but nothing. So, yeah, it was pretty lackluster for me.
Yep. What about you, Wolf?
Alright, I just watched the EA play it just for 2 things. I wanted to watch the Mass Effect Andromeda and just this new Star Wars game by Amy Hennig, just like GKB said. And
I think we got a picture of Amy Hennig, right? Like, hey, we got Amy Hennig.
Yeah, they just gave me a few slides.
She was standing looking at like slides on a table.
Yeah, that's all we got. It's just some slides and 1 or 2 second clip from the.
And
Amy
they had
Hennig.
What was it, like the composer or whatever, saying, "Oh man, this Amy Hennig game, blah 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 blah,"
But
and nothing.
It was cool that they said that they're working on 4 Star Wars games, like one from BioWare, which is the Old Republic. Really, it's really the same as the one on PC, and then we have another one from DICE, a new Battlefront, and one from Amy Hennig from Visual Games, and the one from Respawn. I didn't really expect anything from Respawn anyways, because they're working on Titanfall 2. And speaking of Titanfall 2, I wasn't too impressed with it, to be honest with you. It just looked more of the same. But that's just me though.
Yeah.
I was kind of like with that though, man. Like one of my biggest things with like Titanfall 2 is like I didn't want them to go too drastically away from Titanfall 1 because I really enjoyed that game. And we see that with like Call of Duty, they went too far into the future.
No,
and stuff like that.
when I mean like look more the same, I mean like they didn't really up it with the graphics or anything like that. It was just the same engine.
Yeah, they're using the Source engine. I mean, there's only so much they could probably do.
Yeah,
Modified Source engine.
You can only do so much with the Source engine, to be honest. It's like that's like one of the oldest engines that's out there. So I mean, I'm surprised that they were able to pump up the original Titanfall to look that good.
Well, yeah, but I mean, look, the game, I'm fine with it. I thought it looked fine. I like some of the new abilities. You don't have to reinvent the wheel because that's some of the problems that Call of Duty does. So add some new, listen to what the fans wanted. They said, hey, we wanted more than 3 Titan variants. We got that. We wanted more weapon variation. We got that. We wanted more ability to like level up. We got that. We wanted a campaign. We got that. It looks like the Xbox One version is going to be running on Azure servers. It looks like the PS4 version, probably running on the Amazon or Google servers. I mean, they're kind of iffy about that, but I'm just happy that, you know, I don't care if they were all running on Azure, you know. Microsoft gets paid anyway, but I'm just happy that they're keeping them on the servers and a campaign. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Truthfully, I wish they would have actually showed the demo that they showed on the Doritos Twitch page. Like, they did an after show actually showing more of a couple of the Titans and stuff like that. Like, you actually got to see the Titan with the sword. I even like made a gift out of it because that was like my favorite part where he cut the friggin' Titan in half. And they actually should have shown that on stage. That, I think, would have actually drawn people more in to see what these Titans were actually capable of, but they didn't do that. They didn't do what I really thought they were going to, and I really thought, you know, their best presentation was that Fee game, which is pretty sad because that's the indie game.
What did you guys think of Titanfall 2 not being on anybody else's stage, which is kind of a weird thing to me?
So it's a 50-50, I guess.
Happy. I am so excited.
Well, wait a minute. I'm chiming in here. Sorry,
guys. Hold on.
Did you know
what's going on? I'm glad I can hop in on the Titanfall subject. One thing is though, Vincent Pella was on Xbox Daily yesterday with Major Nelson. Does that have anything to do with it? I'm wondering, as far as marketing rights.
But see, that's where the little twist kind of comes in, because everyone who was demoing Titanfall 2 was actually demoing it with a PlayStation controller or on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, and that's the part that's puzzling. We may not know until we hear from like Tim and Rand when they get back if they have any insight on that. But why would Vincent Pella show up on an Xbox stage? Everybody else that was on that stage yesterday and everybody that's going to be on that was on tonight's stage at 7 o'clock, I missed it. I'm going to watch it later. But I watched yesterday's show. Everybody was an Xbox exclusive or they were Xbox marketing rights, and Vincent Pella was on stage. So I don't know. It's pure speculation, but I think if Sony had Titanfall 2, we would have seen it at E3. Their presser is my point.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I know some people tried to fight with me and say that, oh, they saw it in like the little glimpse of their end rail there, and I said to them, I said, well, there's other multiplats that were played in that we know for a fact are on Xbox One, so you can't really use that. But I actually kind of thought of and wondered that too, Mooch, which kind of brings me back to what if nobody actually has the marketing rights?
That's why I'm saying I think it's 50-50 because Sony, they got Call of Duty and they have Destiny.
Yeah, I mean, no marketing rights would make the most sense. Look, because I mean, Vince was up there on the Xbox stage, but then they're demoing on PS4 hardware.
Well, hold on. Before we say they're demoing on PS4, I do want to say something. I was a big advocate on Twitter of making sure everybody realized that I used to tweet out the pictures of IGN doing it. For example, I believe it was Fallout 4. If it wasn't Fallout 4, it was majority of 2016, end of 2015 marketing rights of Microsoft. When IGN did their Let's Play, they were using a PS4 controller. So my point being is that apparently, don't forget, okay, guys, I know you're tired of hearing me say it, but it's never, and I hope we get into it on this show.
Somebody making popcorn?
Yeah, someone's doing their dishes.
There's like really bad static.
If you take a look and take a second to see that now the media bias is so bad that even the media is slowly, it's going to take a time here. They can't do it as fast as Sony did and flip-flop overnight. But the media is now slowly starting to turn to games and leave power alone, which is interesting. But we'll get to that later, I'm sure, unless you guys already hit on it. But the same thing happens here. You've got the media that they just refuse to give any credit to Microsoft. So whenever they get an opportunity to use a PlayStation controller, any kind of small jab, they do it. So the fact that the PlayStation DualShock 4 controller was used, it's not enough evidence for me to know. And, I mean, one of these guys has to support them as a marketing deal, right? I mean, this was a company that needed every bloody red cent from Microsoft to get this thing out the door. There's no way they're not going to accept a free $20 million for marketing rights from somebody.
Yeah, it's just really odd. Like, Mooch,
it is odd.
They didn't really say anything, but I think as far as like the the Sony controllers and all that kind of stuff, like they haven't been introduced to Titanfall, so I think it was just a good gesture from Respawn just to have that and let people play it on that. Is what I was thinking.
I think that's a good and right now, without any other evidence, I would say that what you said makes sense, and I would think that let's reverse everything. Let's say somebody on the showroom floor saw people playing demos of Titanfall 2 and Xbox One controllers, excuse me. But we saw Yoshida and Adam Boyes have an interview on their own channel for PlayStation Plus with Vincent Pella. We'd be like, come on, Mooch, stop. Vincent Pella was with Yoshida. It's over. All I'm saying is he was sitting there shaking hands, having a martini with Larry Herb. I would favorably say that there's something still very much of a romance between Xbox and Titanfall.
Well, that's kind of where my question comes in. Maybe it's actually just going to be announced at Gamescom.
Yeah, it could be too. Like Gamescom's pretty big.
Well, you remember last year, Crap made a good point. Crap's been saying this for a while. I think Phil wanted E3 to be his fireworks show, which he did.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, this time, we were like, can't wait for Gamescom, because Gamescom is what Microsoft pretty much postponed everything to for some reason. This year, they did the opposite. So I think all we're going to get is, like She-Wolf said, we're probably going to get some pressers, some announcements on things like marketing deals, and I don't know what. I mean, have you guys discussed what Gamescom is even going to bring from the Xbox camp?
I honestly think it's going to be much of the same from E3, man. Honestly.
Yeah. No, they're going to bring Crackdown. They're going to bring Crackdown too.
They're going to they're going to have Crackdown
maybe even Battletoads.
Yeah, maybe they're going to have one or two like one surprise or so that they didn't show at E3.
Crackdown makes sense for sure.
Yeah, because that's a European developer, so they should have a.
Okay. Good point.
Yeah, they should have.
Did you guys? I hope I didn't miss the segment where you guys got into Phil flexing his.
No, dude, we started off like at just talking about EA. I mean, you jumped in right, and then we were going to jump to Bethesda and how boring that shit was.
No, yeah, keep with your agenda. I was hoping I didn't miss that, because if I did, I was going to have to give you a 15-minute rant.
Yeah. Oh no, I hear you, dude. Like trust me, I saved the Scorpio, Xbox, all this cool stuff for a little bit later. Now the Bethesda thing started off strong. We're like, yes, new Quake, and then they're like, Windows only, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, and then they showed Prey 2, which looks good, but that doesn't come out till next year sometime. I'm not interested. The Skyrim remaster was the highlight for me. You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds lame, but for me, that's already penciled in. I love that game so much with all the DLC, and apparently you're going to be able to do more. The textures and stuff that are on this game are more than are in the PC versions with mods, apparently. So they've done a really lot to enhance this game. I mean, it's a full $60, but to me, I'll gladly pay that.
There's a lot of content in that game, man.
Yeah. That game's going to be something that's going to take you a lot of time to play through, and with all the DLC and stuff. Because basically the DLCs, which was the Dragonborn and the other one, those are like pretty large expansions, almost like mini games. Yep. So I could definitely see those, being well worth it in my opinion. So I'm excited for that, and I'm not a real big. What the hell is that other game they have? Dishonored. I don't really care about Dishonored at all. I don't give a shit about that game whatsoever. They teased Wolfenstein, another Wolfenstein apparently. I don't know if you guys saw that, but they kind of teased it with some kind of text or something. But I don't know. What did you guys think about the Bethesda thing? I was kind of disappointed after last year's was pretty good. So.
Well, just like you, Crap, I was disappointed with the Quake stuff. But I think my only highlight for the show was Dishonored 2 and Prey. But we didn't get anything from Prey. We didn't see no gameplay. Other than that, it was a snooze flick. Like last year, Bethesda, they killed it.
Yeah, people said they won E3 last year.
Yeah, they had the fuck last year, but this year, man, it was boring as hell, man.
Well, Bethesda they had Doom and they had pardon me here, Fallout, right? So that was like their big shtick last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to top that, right? I mean, this is a company that we know has other titles that are great, but we knew they weren't going to launch. I didn't personally. I shouldn't have even interjected. I should have let GKB go, because I watched some of GKB's and She-Wolf's channel when they reviewed it. I did not watch the Bethesda because I think I said this to Crap earlier. The whole thing with Bethesda and EA and these guys that have their side conferences, their big boy stuff is shown on Microsoft and Sony's stage, and it's shown better on Microsoft and Sony's stage. So there's the hype's there, the audience is there. When they do these things small on their own, for some reason, I feel like you're at one of those college fairs, like a booth, showing. So I apologize, GKB. Take it away. I just thought they could. There was no way they were going to beat last year.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like, EA and Bethesda, I thought potentially had some of the best things they could have shown, and probably could have stole the show away from everybody if all the leaks and the rumors and stuff were turned out to be true. But a lot of them weren't. I felt their shows were lackluster at best.
Evil Within 2 you wanted, I know.
Yeah, I wanted Evil Within 2, man. I love the first one. I even wanted like another, like even a tease of like Wolfenstein. I was really let down with the Quake thing because I love Quake and Doom reminds me a lot of Quake. But you know, they kind of said that maybe it's coming to consoles, but they kind of always do that. But yeah, overall, like my high points was like with you was Skyrim. Dishonored was pretty good, but I thought they took too much time on that.
Yeah.
And it kind of just got a little bit drawn out. Yeah, the weak point, I guess, is just, you know, like some of the card games and stuff I just wasn't a big fan
of. Man, why is this a thing? I don't get it.
I don't know, there's a lot of them in these shows.
People like card games. Apparently, Microsoft decided to give me a big fuck you and restart up my computer without my permission for a Windows update, so that's cool.
Hey, that's pretty damn cool, man. I'm not going to lie. But welcome back, Hellhammer. We're in the midst of talking about Bethesda's shitty conference. She-Wolf, what do you think?
Well, one, I'm actually a little disappointed with all the conferences and their release dates. First off, get away from October 28th, people. That's just way too many freaking games coming out within that week to 2 week period. Like, that is insane. After having a list of all of them, that is insane. There's just too many. And, you know, what's with the Bethesda of VR? Like,
people are jumping on that VR hype train because they think that's what everybody fucking wants.
Clearly, and you know, it is cool that the two games that they have for it announced as it is, you know, you can walk around in the Doom Hell world and Fallout 4 and stuff, which is cool and all too, but that's just way too many VRs, way too many card games. Like, I am sure there's a lot of people that do like the card games, which all the power to them, but again, I was really hoping for like a couple big titles, even if they weren't coming out necessarily now or like even spring, but maybe like a little later, like Evil Within. I was really excited for that, and I was actually kind of excited for the Skyrim remaster, but again, it's coming out on October 28th, and my world's gonna be wrapped around Titanfall 2 at that time, so they've kind of pushed that one back. And then Quake, you know, they should have saved that for the PC stage if they were gonna turn around and be like, oh, PC only, because you know, I'm pretty sure majority of people that watch the conferences kind of assume that most of them are actually for the consoles and not just PC, so it was kind of, it was different. It was really different to see that it was
PC has an E3 stage, so...
And then it was half empty and boring as fuck, so nobody really gives a shit about PC at E3s.
I could tell you this too, like about the whole VR thing throughout. They've totally affirmed that I have no freaking interest in VR with the shit they showed, like none whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh, you mean you're not interested in whatever, Batman Arkham VR?
I was like, what is that?
You know, they don't even show anything really.
It's not a game. It's actually it's an experience. That's the way it is. That's all it is.
Oh, so it's worse than Kinect was.
Yes.
You know, the funnier part though is you know, I know we're not at the Sony spot yet, but when you have the characters in the games wearing the VRs, but you don't actually see the VRs, was just kind of...
Well, that was it too. Good point, She-Wolf. That was one of the things I noticed yesterday is the fact that, or excuse me, what was it? I'm off by a day now. But like on Monday was that they started showing they're just showing VR now like a first-person experience from that angle. That's not how that feels.
Yeah.
It's because they can't. They revealed last year when they showed E3, or it wasn't E3. Excuse me, it was PSX, and it looked awful. They just couldn't get the VR presence to show to the audience correctly, and so they did it this way. And I thought this was great because you have every idiot that's sitting in that theater clapping like a fool to something that you're... And did you guys see, I tweeted it out last night, somebody hit me with the article early, and I tried to get it out as soon as possible. The actual clip that you saw of Resident Evil 7 from the VR experience is not in the VR experience. That was completely staged, smoke and mirrors. So when you saw the guy with the mannequins, remember the mannequins, and then he goes down the stairs and you saw somebody walk through the doorway, and then they weren't there and it was all creepy? That's not in the game. It's not even in the game.
Oh, I read that. Isn't that actually supposed to just be in the standard copy game? Because that's also possibly coming to Xbox One as well.
I don't think that's even in the game. I think they just synthesized that to show a creepy aspect. That's horseshit. What is that? It's like the next Friday the 13th movie, and you go to watch, and I'm like, you guys got to sit down and watch this. Guys, watch this clip. It's really good. And you guys are freaked out, and you're like, holy shit, what the fuck was that? Oh, my God, what the fuck was that? And all of a sudden, I'm like, well, that's a different movie. But The movie I wanted you to see is going to be just as scary. And you're like, what the fuck?
Especially when he was talking about like something about in the kitchen or something. I was like, what?
The show's a mess.
That's Foxfire's place. Come on.
I know. I even said that on the show. I'm like, oh, look, Fox. It says in the kitchen.
Yeah. You know what? Look, like the VR stuff, and I'm happy that Phil Spencer came out and said this again, and we're going to touch on Phil Spencer nutting up lately. But he said Xbox One, PS4, these are like cell phone type VR capable, not console, not good VR capable, right? And I'm glad he came out and said that. You know what I mean? Because look, PS4 cannot do proper VR. If you're a console person and you want a really good VR experience, I got one word for you: Scorpio. Just saying.
Well, you know, I also want to point out, it seems we're talking about VR, like the shooter gun that they have for VR.
It looks
It looks like a freaking balloon gun or something.
I was like, that's not real.
No, it's real.
There's videos of people actually playing it.
Oh yeah, I know. I was just like, when they first showed it, I was like, that's not real.
Oh, you're talking about that new
terrible.
peripheral for PS4?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to point out exactly who it was on. I was just...
That was terrible.
Pew 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 pew. Yeah, I mean, come
like,
on.
what? You're telling me you couldn't make a decent looking gun or something? Like it looks like something that would have been on the Wii.
Yeah, I mean,
it does.
Well, I mean, you also got to be kind of careful too with the whole PC world. People get offended by the shit that looks a little bit too real.
Oh,
So-
come on. They had Duck Hunter that had guns that looked more real than that.
Yeah,
and they
now
had to
you
change
can
the
get away
color
with that.
too.
I
They
still
had-
have my Duck Hunt gun, by the way.
Yeah, they changed it
My
to
light
orange.
was
It
Nintendo.
was originally gray, and they
Yeah.
changed it to orange because people were like pissed off. That's kind of what's. Hey, people are flipped out over the South Park stuff game right now. Like,
I love that game.
Yeah.
completely. I mean, to me, it looks fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
But it looks funny as hell. But people are like, man, they don't like Cartman's his name in the game.
Coon?
Yeah.
It's
They don't
Coon.
like it. Yes, they don't like it. They think it's offensive. I swear to God.
Yeah,
There's this big uprising about it. It's like
I mean,
Why?
Not
Are
a
they thinking that it's like cunt or something? Because that's not it. It's
No,
Coon,
no, no,
people.
no.
no, it's something else we don't need to talk
Yes.
about.
But yeah, it's they're offended by it. People are so offended by everything. You
It's
know what I
too
mean?
PC these days, bro. PC
Yeah,
principle.
oh my, it is, and he's in that game, right? Like fucking Trigger. Yeah, I guess that would be a good way to say it. Scourge. It's a racial slur for black people, apparently. Like that's a proper way to say it, right? Without being offensive, because I'm the least
someone
offensive
said that
person.
in the stage or in
Yeah.
the chat, but he's had that name. Like, nobody did anyone make comments when it was actually in the show? Like, that was a couple
It's a while
years
back.
ago that actually aired for the actual episodes. Like, it's not like this game was just created all on its own. It's actually based off of a whole entire season.
Yeah, dude, that peripheral looks worse than the one that they had last gen for the PS3, with like the shooter thing that you'd stick the glowing thing in and all that stuff.
Listen, here's the deal. VR is a flop. And that's just the way it is. And nobody wants to talk about it because the media has shoved it down our throats for about 12 to 18 months now that this is coming. It's the next coming of Christ. It's not. The customers, they don't want it. This is not about mooch or crap or BGST or console corner. This is not about just our opinions. The public will speak and vote with their wallets. And in order to get the true PSVR experience, okay, in order to get that experience, you're roughly around $1,000. You need the Neo, and then you also need to have the peripheral, the sticks, the eye, the whole nine, the helmet. Because listen, I know they said that the PS4 vanilla can handle it. Not really. We know it'll do it, but it's not going to be great.
That's not going to be able to run that shit any decent.
Exactly, Hellhammer. So my point being, and that same thing goes. Look, I'm ready, guys. Something you're not used to hearing me saying. Also, even goes for Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio's not going to be cheap. First of all, second of all, you're going to have to buy an Oculus. That's not cheap. So my point being is that the customer doesn't want it. That's why Microsoft's smarter about it.
Yeah, they're not investing their own.
No, they put some chips in their box that can handle an Oculus and handle a Vive. You, the consumer, want to go and buy that ridiculous contraption? Knock yourself out. Microsoft's like, we will give you something so you can play some of the greatest games that are going to be made for VR. Because let's be honest, Vive's the best, Oculus is second best, and PSVR is whatever. So
It's something.
It's
Well,
something.
don't forget
We're not really
Bethesda,
sure
though.
what. Who?
Bethesda's going too now.
They're making.
Oh,
They're
they're
putting
making
Fallout 4 to VR, and I bet that's going to launch on the Scorpio next year. I guarantee it.
Yeah, they're launching Fallout in 4K.
Yeah, they had the guy up there talking about the Scorpio. That was the head of Bethesda talking about. Yeah. Todd
something.
Yeah, I forget. Todd Howard.
Where you can actually go in and look at the red rocket.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes, the red rocket. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the Microsoft show. Obviously, I really liked it. Again, there weren't any surprises. NeoGaf and probably Crapgamer went out of their way to spoil everything for everybody. I'm not an insider though, but I did hear a lot of things that turned out to be true. And a lot of it ended up being really cool. Like to me, the Dead Rising 4 thing looked phenomenal. It's not a remake. It takes place like 13 years after the first one.
Crap, Crap, I have a question for you. I'm cutting you off, but I want you to take the mic back in a second. Is Dead Rising 4 an exclusive to Windows 10 Xbox?
The box on the Microsoft stage says Xbox One exclusive. Sorry, Crap, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's a console exclusive, but I did hear that it might go to Steam after a while, like after it's on, because Microsoft funded it, right? Just like the last one. But the thing is, like, Microsoft isn't going to stop them from putting it on Steam eventually. You know what I mean?
So that's why they can't really say Xbox One Windows 10 exclusive.
Yeah, but they funded it. Yeah,
but the Sony camp, of course, the Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller show, they did their recap like we're doing right now. They did theirs right after E3 on each series, and they said that Dead Rising 4 will be coming to they told everybody that it'll be coming to PlayStation 4. I think that's no way that's happening.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Every article I've seen all says that it is not coming to PlayStation 4. And if you go to the actual Microsoft website and go to the game to order their physical copy, it actually says right on the box, Xbox One exclusive.
Yeah, it's a console exclusive. Other than that, I mean, who really cares? And Phil goes, when Phil was talking, he goes, and he was like, he was actually going in on Sony a bit. He's like, they show these other platforms show these games. We never know when they're shipping or if they're going to ship at all. He's like, I've got 4 exclusives shipping this year: Dead Rising 4, Forza Horizon 3, Gears 4, and Recore. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the fact that, yeah, I mean, come on. Everything that he's saying leads, like, why is this even a thing anymore? I get that that's not a Microsoft owned IP, but it's not like Capcom's not been doing console exclusives this entire generation.
Yeah,
and the last one did very well. Not only that, but they predicted only 2 million in sales in their investor call for the game. If it was going to go to PS4 as well, I would assume that they'd predict much higher than just that. Not saying it's not going to sell that.
I think that's just the people trying to damage control it, honestly.
Yeah.
They saw a game that they wanted.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, that's just the cold hard truth on that too, right? Like, Microsoft obviously is funding the game. They're the ones who basically made Dead Rising 3 even happen, and then Dead Rising 4 all of a sudden comes out, and now it's going to come out on PlayStation. I mean, I don't see that.
It looks like a fucking blast, too. I'm not going to lie. Like, it looks fun.
What I like about it is, and shame on me for not, from what I've seen of it, though, Crap, okay? And I've tried to watch some side clips, and I mean this in a positive light. I think they made it a little bit more cartoony again versus the Dead Rising 3, which is good because everything seemed to be so much more fluent, and just the screen movement was much better than even 3. And I thought 3 was done well, but I think 4 is going to be crisp, really clean, tons of zombies, more interaction with the environment. I noticed something. I got my wish, unless if you guys want to call me and I'm wrong, but I got my wish. Crap, what I tell you, I don't know if you remember. What was my biggest beef with Dead Rising 3? It was all that, like, all the stuff that you could piece together to make stuff was just like thrown all over the road, like cones and this and that, and the word came up every time. It was to me, I thought that was a bit of a mess. I didn't see that this time. I saw that you basically were going around and the objects weren't like just thrown all over the road. So I don't know, those types of things where they cleaned it up. I'm very much looking forward to Dead Rising 4.
Yeah, you know, I think the exosuit too was like freaking awesome. Like when you put that on and pulled stuff out of the ground.
Is that something you were going to get right away, GKB, or is that something?
I think like when they were saying stuff like later on, it's kind of like a progression system. Like you'll eventually learn it.
What do you guys think about the December 6th release date? Because that's odd to me.
It's awesome, actually.
I think it's awesome too. Like,
no, it is. That's a perfect Christmas gift right there.
Yeah,
man.
but it's post Black Friday, which is
interesting. It comes out the same day as South Park, though. which is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna get both, but I mean, I think that it's
October 28th. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
See, that's actually what I was gonna ask everyone. Like, does everyone think that maybe everyone, the Sony side of the fans, are trying to like say that this is also going to be coming to PlayStation because of the fact that the only actual game that they showed on their stage that actually has a release date is The Last Guardian for October 25th. There was no other game that was showed on that stage that was just a PlayStation exclusive. Do you think that could have anything to do with why they're trying to somehow say, oh, well, we're getting Dead Rising as well because they're just not happy that they only had one game actually show? Like, I know they have other ones. I'm not saying they don't have other so-called exclusives that are coming out this year, like Gran Turismo, but on their actual stage, they only showed one that had an actual release date for this year.
Yeah, and it's a niche title because, look, The Last Guardian's very niche as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, and again, not only that, but here it is, that game's coming out this year, and we didn't get a stage demo. We got, pre-recorded stuff, which is weird.
It's because it's not going to be any better than like a poor man's Skylanders. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to be a jumping simulator with a cartoony background.
Oh no, it's got that.
Last Guardian looked
It's
worse
got
than
that
Saturday morning
donkey monkey
cartoon,
in
man.
there.
It did.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I heard you know what was funny was Graphic God made a joke in the comment section that was actually kind of funny. He goes, I heard they hired a new voice actor for The Last Guardian because they weren't happy with the way the current one said "oi." I mean, you wouldn't expect him to make that joke. Am I right? I mean, come on.
Good, Jay. Nice. Very nice.
So, you know, yeah. So here's the thing: they have Forza Horizon 3. I mean, 350 cars that's launching with co-op campaign.
EX12.
EX12. Yeah,
It looks beautiful. Like Australia is awesome.
It is. You know, it's like
4-player co-op.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And did you see how they came in on the freaking Chinooks and stuff? And like when the Chinooks were like flying over the water, it was like rippling the water. That awesome effects, man.
Yeah,
definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, you know what? Like that's my favorite racing series. Like no offense to Turn 10, but I think those guys at Playground Games do like. To me, just a phenomenal job with what they're doing, and I love
something crap. You know what it is? It's no offense at all to Turn 10. It's really two separate games they share the same logo. You know what I mean? It's almost like if your favorite restaurant opens up a pizzeria across the street. You can't say the pizzeria sucks. They just make a hell of a pizza. They just don't make a great fillet. They don't have fillet on the menu. My point is that Playground is great. They're great for what they do, and myself personally, I'm in your camp. I have yet to own a Forza motorsport. I don't. That's just really not my thing. You know, I wish it was, but you can't. First of all, you can't play everything, right? So you got to pick some of your demons. And mine's just I don't want to go turning in a right circle for hours and hours. It's not my thing. But if you're a car nut, it's totally your thing. And what's great about Forza Horizon is there's a story. There's some you have the open world, and now the fact that you can play with 4-player co-op, that changes everything for me.
The 4-player co-op thing, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
The game just makes it.
The world is like 2 or 3 times larger than Forza Horizon 2.
Yeah.
So there's
Not
no
to go off
previous
topic. I don't mean to get off topic right now, but you see Sony's E3, they cut it short by 15 minutes. Yeah. But I'm hearing that they were meant to show Gran Turismo Sport on stage, but because of Forza Horizon 3, they didn't want to show it because that game literally...
Okay, see, but I also heard there was a rumor that they were supposed to also have...
Red Dead Redemption, yeah.
Yeah, so...
No, but that rumor wasn't true, though. That's the thing. They were meant to show Gran Turismo, but they didn't want to be upstaged by Forza Horizon.
I thought it was short because they were originally going to have Neo, and they had to fill it with some... And you could tell that they... See, the reason I think it was Neo that was supposed to be at the end, but then they pulled it, is because you could tell that whatever that was, Days Gone or whatever it's called, which I thought was okay, but now reports are coming out, nobody even wants to play it.
You're jumping into my topics for later.
Oh, sorry. I'll back off. Yeah. But they said that the Neo thing was going to be there, but they pulled it. You could tell that they had that plan because that demo that they had of Days Gone was not something they pulled together at 2 o'clock that afternoon. That was something planned for weeks to have that much gameplay shown.
Especially to have like the trailer at the start and then the gameplay at the end.
That's weak. But you know what? The media didn't say anything. The media said it was the best one ever. I mean,
so they practically wasted like more than 15 minutes on that one game.
Not only that, but nobody's mentioned this at all. Is the fact that that Sony had no indie developers out on their stage. I know they had them out on the floor, but they had for the past 3 years.
Crap, they had them on the floor because they didn't have any of the games they showed ready to play.
I know, but check this out. Like, weren't they the ones getting all the love? Sony loves indies, and they heart indies and all this stuff, right? They don't bring any of them out. Microsoft does, and they don't get any extra adoration or anything like that, even though apparently that We Happy Few game is like the most talked about game going around right now.
Yeah, I'm excited about that game, actually.
You know what's weird? After seeing stuff about it, like it has to deal with like conformity and taking pills and things not what they seem. Yeah, very interesting to me now, a lot more.
We Happy Few an exclusive, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's an Xbox.
It's like Cuphead. It's like Cuphead.
Yeah, it's Steam and Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I was telling Crap this during the live reactions when we were watching the show, and I think Zaire was the only one that didn't like it. But I said, I don't know about you guys, but you guys know my favorite game on the console is BioShock.
Yeah.
It's a BioShock feel. And I know it's an indie game, whatever, but it's certainly whoever's putting the effort and time, the developer, they're much more powerful than most indie developers. They know what they're doing. Their art design is amazing, and that whole thing with when they were like, "Did you take your joy?" and he didn't take the pill. That's the same thing with like the plasmas and this and that. And if you remember the early BioShocks and Rapture, when after the doctor had gotten done operating on most of the characters that were remaining in Rapture, they had that like wacky like bunny cracked mask on. That's that same feel, and they did the same thing. They went and they did something more to better themselves with these plasmas to feel better. Where in this it's that joy, it's some sort of medicine that whoever the leader is of wherever they're living is giving them this, and it's sedating them to be in this like delusional land where they thought they were hitting a piñata, but they were actually killing an animal. So
to Mooch's point too, like you could definitely tell like these devs played BioShock and loved BioShock.
Yeah,
it's very inspired.
It's very BioShock with a like kind of feel to it, a little bit of like Fallout.
Yeah, I could see
that.
Let
me say something real quick, okay? Like, and what was really interesting because when we were watching it live, Mooch, like it's hard for us to really pay that close attention because we're like trying to talk and entertain and
right.
So when I went back and watched that, like the guy's off joy. So the piñata part, like he's hitting the piñata, right? Because the joy is he's still got the pill shit going through him. And then when that stuff wears off, he realizes that he's not actually smacking the piñata; it's that rat, right?
Right.
Because he's all hyped. It's like very social commentary. I like that about how everybody just kind of conforms and is all pilled up and things like that. And for those in the chat box going, hey, now you guys are being hypocrites because Microsoft showed indies and Sony didn't. No, I'm just saying that you all are hypocrites because Microsoft showed them and they're not getting any of that love that Sony got over the past few years for showing indies. And Sony showed no indies on their stage this year. And I will say that we have never said that we hate all indies. We're good friends with a couple of indie devs. Micah being one, Jay Bites a Chicken being one.
I've had Bites of Chicken on 2 or 3 times.
I've enjoyed quite a few indie games. I'll say that. I'll just go. I've been on record and I'll say this, and I even say this now, that a good majority of indie games are garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So what I'll say is there's a handful of them that are good that I would consider that would have made Xbox arcade games last gen, and those are fine. We Happy Few is one that's interesting to me. It's not an 8-bit type thing. It's not a, you know what I mean? It looks very interesting to me. So
I'm gonna be pulling this game off because usually, the ones that get praised the most is those 8-bit shitty games that look like they're on the Atari 2600, man.
I think I speak
I'm not gonna lie though, but I love Below, man.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think I speak.
No, but that don't look like an 8-bit game though. That still looks good. Below looks great.
Below Inside. You got
Ashen, Cuphead, Below.
Ashen, Cuphead. Yep.
Yep.
But you know what I like about the fact of We Happy Few though? They're actually coming to the preview where we're still waiting for Cuphead. And we're still waiting for Below. We're still waiting for Inside. Like, at least this game is actually coming in July to the preview, so people can actually try this. And to top it off, for anyone who watched the Xbox Daily Show, they actually told you, like, the things that you do, whether you actually take the pill or if you don't, will actually change your feeling of the game and actually what you do and what, progresses with what you're doing. So you can have different outcomes.
Outcomes, yes, you can, which is really good. Hey, thanks to over 430 people watching right now. Really appreciate it on a
awesome,
Wednesday night. That's pretty fucking good. So
that is pretty good.
Yeah, it is. And then let me think. You know what? State of Decay 2. Like we all thought it was going to be Class 4 because that's what they said. But when I was watching them describe stuff today, they said, well, we really listened to the fans. The fans didn't want an MMO. They wanted 4-player co-op in the single-player type game.
I was one of those.
Yes. So they go, that's what we did. It's like kind of a persistent world where you can build up your thing, but it's 4-player co-op, not an MMO. So it is just like this immersive type single-player but co-op experience. So
I'd have preferred the MMO personally, but I mean it's still cool that it's 4-player. Anything that's co-op is nice because there's a shortage of co-op games lately this generation. But I can also say that attests well to Microsoft and the studios that they have working for them, that they listen to their fans.
Yeah, I think
also has crossplay between Xbox and Windows 10.
It might be. Did you hear that Halo Wars 2 isn't crossplay for some reason?
What?
Well, I can tell you that I can tell you why. It's because if you're using a mouse and keyboard on a PC, and if they don't have that ready yet on Xbox One, or obviously like they don't want to play that on if they don't want to put it on there, if somebody doesn't have a keyboard or mouse, it's much quicker to deploy units and stuff on a game like that.
It's still kind of interesting though because like Phil's already come out and said in a couple of months the mouse and keyboard is coming to the Xbox, so it's kind of.
But not everybody's gonna have that or want to use that. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think that's why they delayed it, because they're trying to get that.
Oh, that's true. It is delayed, but they already came out and announced it's not going to have any crossplay though. So that's weird. That's weird. But I mean, look, anything that they do, I trust as far as that must not have been working out well. You know what I mean? And if they pulled the plug on it, good for them. If you look at the Gears 4 thing, apparently you're only going to be able to do horde and co-op campaign. You're not going to be able to compete against each other.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it makes sense because you don't want to end up against people with a mouse and keyboard. But
I'm not a big multiplayer fan in like Gears 4, but they announced Horde mode 3.0, and I'm totally on board with that. I love
every map has a horde mode. Every map.
So good.
Yeah.
You get 36 maps by the end of this first year. What is it? 12 months out, it'll have 36 maps or 34 maps. That's insane, and all free.
Yep, all free. The game with that real-time weather and stuff, and apparently like it affects everything. You throw a grenade and it comes back at you.
It's so cool.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, the Xbox S was leaked before the conference, but then they announced it. This thing has HDR, which is interesting. Okay, and I'll tell you a little bit about this because people are like wondering and kind of freaking out about the differences between the Xboxes now. Both the Xbox One that we have now and the Xbox One Slim, they're going to play the same games, the same everything. The only difference is the Xbox One Slim has HDR. So if you have an HDR TV, that's that apparently has something to do with like the colors and the vibrancy and things like that. So for example, Tim Dog, you guys know him from BGST, Xbox Junkie, a guy who's at E3 right now, a couple other people that I know messaged me and they're like, they had Gears 4 playing on an Xbox One Slim with HDR on these big TVs, and then they had Gears 4 playing on Windows 10 in 4K. Everybody that I've seen says it popped more in HDR on the Xbox One. That's fucking phenomenal to me.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
The Xbox One Slim is really it's going to appeal to the people who haven't upgraded yet, and it definitely should appeal to any hardcore gamer.
Not only that,
go ahead, Craig.
I just want to say it's the cheapest Ultra Blu-ray player that you can get. It's $100 cheaper than the cheapest Ultra Blu-ray player that you can buy. Microsoft was genius in doing this because that's how Sony got in people's houses with the PS3.
Exactly.
Yep, they had the cheapest Blu-ray player. Now Microsoft has the cheapest Ultra 4K Blu-ray player.
If we talk generic, okay, for a second, let's assume nobody has the 1 terabyte or what. If you're just talking 500 gig console, right now the 500 gig Xbox One that you have in your home is worth $100 trade-in. You know sure as shit that next year the 500 gig that you would pick up on the Slim is going to be worth more than 100 going towards your pardon me for this Scorpio. So my point being is that even if you're just going to up your trade-in each time, okay, you're better off trading in, getting the S, and then getting more money next year. The other thing is this. why wouldn't you want to have that 4K player? So it's cheaper. It's cheaper than the one on the market, and it looks better. The games are going to look better. It's a sleeker. The box looks so good. Maybe I'm a sucker for design. That's why I said all these times before E3 when we were talking, nobody ever wanted to talk hardware. Like, hardware is appealing, okay? It really is. It's why you like. If you're a car guy and you're listening to me right now and you're like, he doesn't know what he's talking about, screw hardware, it's all about software. If you're a car guy, you can't say that. Like, it's all about what the car looks like and what's happening. And that does have something to do with it.
I agree. It's all about the presentation. I agree.
Yeah, it's in your living room.
It came, I know, I just had that bit of that Apple vibe when I saw that console.
Yes.
Sleek design. You could, it stands vertically as well, just like the 360.
Did you see the box? It looks like a fucking Apple iPod box beefed up. It's like this little white
thank God. Box. Thank God they got rid of the green.
They listen, dude. Here's the thing, right? For people that don't understand, Microsoft listens. Go back and listen to the Scorpio reveal. They're like, this is for you, box. This is the one we've been listening to in the forums and social media. You guys wanted this. This is yours, the hardcore gamers box. It's not going to be for everybody. Phil came out and said, hey, this is for the 4K gamers. We're not actually, because a lot of people are like, does this mean we're getting a new Xbox every 2 years? Phil's like, no. He's like, there was a hardware jump, a hardware leap. He said 4K is going to be a thing within the next 5-6 years. We wanted to be on top of that. Don't expect one every 2 years because that's not going to happen. He said that. He came out and said that. He goes, 4K is going to be the thing. It's not huge right now, but this is going to be a premium product for people that want that, right? And so that you're going to have that, but it's going to play all the same games as the Xbox One and the Xbox One S. That's how they're treating it. So, I mean, and right now, hey, you can get an Xbox One like the ones that we have for like $279. Fucking insane.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what? Here's the other thing. Microsoft really, if everything just pans out the way we all have it written down right now, Microsoft's so in the driver's seat for the next 2 console generations. Let me tell you what I mean. So, Neo, it doesn't matter if Neo comes out in October 2016 or March 2017. It does not matter. That's basically the same time. Like when somebody says to you right now, hey, we're already past the 3-year mark on this generation. Anybody who knows it is like, well, not really because it was November 2013, right? So October, November, December doesn't really count until you get to the next fiscal year anyway. So, anyways, we're moving on. My point is that you have Project Scorpio is going to trump the Neo. And Neo is being released right now. Now is the same as Scorpio. People are like, why is there such a difference in time? It's not. March 2017 or October 2016 and then October 2017 is not that big of a gap difference, meaning it's basically the same release times. So Microsoft comes out, is so much more dominant in the power category. When I'm making up names here. I'm not saying PS5 is coming out. When PS5 comes out, we'll just call it Scorpio 2 will also be coming out. Because Sony's not going to make the Neo now and then 2 years from now make another box. You can't have 3 in 3 years. Take it easy.
That's why even Phil said that. He goes, look, there would be a point where if you started doing these things every year, every other year, where consumers are just going to revolt. They're not going to want that. He even said these aren't phones. You know what I mean? So look, the 4K is going to be the next thing. I wouldn't be surprised if the Scorpio is if they keep that. And guess what? They're all Xbox One apparently. Phil was very clear about that. These are all Xbox Ones, depending on your level of what you want. If you just got a 1080p HDR TV, you're probably going to be happy as hell with the Xbox One S because you're going to get a great picture and it's going to look good, and it makes fucking the whole resolution thing pretty much moot anyway. If you want like that high-end VR experience and a 4K, and if you're Zaire, then you're going to get Scorpio. You know what I mean? You want to play that 2K in that 4K. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I mean there's and it's all about options and choices. And the way they made it sound, which was very good, was games are going to be the same no matter what, but if you get this one, it's going to be, and this is what he said too, Shannon Loftus said this, the games on multiplayer are going to have the same FPS across the board. There's not going to be an advantage, so that's huge in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the important thing, man, is like to come out and say, hey, no matter what you're playing, it's going to be the same across, because that's what one of the biggest things like we were scared of is like the
multiplayer thing, because I don't want, not only that, look, I don't want to pay to have an advantage in the multiplayer. If I did, I would just play on PC.
Win.
Yeah, like I don't want that, and I also don't want to be stuck because I can feel somebody's pain that just maybe saved up enough to get an Xbox One and they're happy about it, right? Why should they get smacked around in a multiplayer match because they can't afford the $500 or $600?
Because they're poor. Fuck them.
Yeah, right. I mean, come on. Like to me, what they're doing is perfect. But here's the thing, right? and we should have known this. I don't know if Microsoft, because they were very clear with their message, but the FUD, which if you guys don't know what FUD means, it means for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And this is what happens about Microsoft on places like NeoGAF and M4G. They're like, oh, did you hear the Xbox One Slim doesn't come with a controller? I shit you not. That people were saying that. Oh my God,
they're reaching pretty hard with that.
it doesn't come with a controller. Oh my God, it comes with a controller. They're saying,
Major Nelson said on the Daily Show, he's like, and it does come with a controller.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Why the hell would they sell a console that doesn't have a fucking controller?
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, because they're like Nintendo and going to sell you a handheld without a charger. You know what I mean?
Well, he was saying like y'all misunderstood. It's just going to be also sold separately, so you can also get the controller.
Yeah.
You know, extra ones.
It made sense to me. And you know what? Like the interesting thing is after E3, everybody's like, Sony won. And I'm like, what the hell did Sony win? Like, no offense, because they're like, Microsoft talked hardware and they showed controllers and talked about 2 new hardware. I was like, everything that they showed as far as hardware took up less than 10 minutes. Okay, they had a 90-minute.
It's
program.
funny crap too, man.
Crap. This is the thing. I watched that whole Xbox briefing again, and everything that they shown, it catered to me. It started off with the Xbox One S. They showed arguably the best third-person shooter on the planet, along with an action RPG, a racer, fighter, a real-time strategy, a JRPG, and MMO, and they ended it with hardware. So they had a variety there, man. And you know, I just don't know why people are saying Sony won, man. They showed more of the same CG.
Yeah, 2019 or 2018. Everyone's always saying I said, but my thing is this. I said, you guys go watch BGST. I said it 1,000 times, said it on this channel. Like, they're just going to show you CGIs. That's all you saw. That thing with Norman Reedus, what was that? There's nothing to get excited about.
I want to get into that too. I just, GKB, you were about to chime in with something and it sounded good.
Oh yeah, well, like during our stream, man, like the whole time, like the first 30 minutes of the show was just like game after game after game
hit after hit.
Yeah, and I mentioned that like we were watching it, I was like, does anybody else notice that nobody's talked like the first 30 to 40 minutes of the show? It's just been game after game after game after game. I thought that was phenomenal, and that's how you should do a show, not like these other ones.
One only that, one only the hardware. They also showed peripherals, man. The Xbox Design Lab.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's awesome.
Not only that, they announced new features too, like the Xbox Club.
But the thing is, though, is they like announced it was just a couple minutes and then moved on. They didn't dwell on it and they didn't do anything crazy. I mean, even the indie part of the show, which they showed, was very direct and to the point. It wasn't like a whole bunch of fluff. So it was just about show all together.
I like to read like body language and expression. If you guys watch, if I can actually put you guys through the torture to watch the first 30-40 minutes of Sony's press coverage again at E3, please watch Sean Layden and his body language. If you remember, let me tap into the audience here. So if you remember in high school, or if you're at work now and you know someone that gives presentations, a lot of presentations, when you see somebody who's either scared of the material they're about to deliver, or they are underprepared, they didn't do their homework right, or they have no slide, they have like one slide and they have a 45-minute session, they start rubbing their hands together a lot.
Man, that was me today.
He came out and he's like, how about this orchestra? How many times do we have to talk about the orchestra? Hey, asshole, this isn't the Emmys, okay? We don't need to hear it. You know when like Billy Crystal was doing like the Emmys stuff, like, you had all these people come out and like hosting. They always thank the orchestra, and they thank like the guy who's doing the lighting, because they all get paid by the same people. This guy paid the orchestra. Let's not talk about it 3 times. He came out sweating. He's got his hands up. He's like crunching his hands next to each other. He's like squeezing his own hand. He's like, all right, guys, then what do you say we do a little bit more? And how about that crash? You come out with this huge thing. You have a whole set design. You even have the actual caricature as your shadow coming out. And then you're like, and we're giving you a remaster. Not even a new game? You're pathetic. You're a pathetic fool.
It's a fucking platforming game. They couldn't have fucking got...
The Knack King.
Look, here's the thing, right? The crash thing is funny because it just still says in development like everything else at Sony's conference, but it wasn't good. And then I just because I want to hop in full charge on Sony's conference first, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about Microsoft's because they came out with and they announced the thing, right? The Scorpio at the end, and we're all like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Because we weren't sure they were going to do it. Today, Sony came out and said they were completely taken by surprise by this. I think just like backwards compatibility last year, right? They actually you know, they come out by surprise. Not only that, but they do the whole 6 teraflop thing. They don't really give away too much though. But here's the interesting thing, and I was talking to Helmer about it, and somebody just tweeted us. Who is this guy? Blight7. The GPU of the Xbox Scorpio would be 6 teraflops. When you add in the memory and the CPU, this thing could be 8 to 10 teraflops total. That's fucking insane. Remember when we were hearing these things, 8 to 10 teraflops? That was probably for everything combined. The GPU alone in Scorpio, 6. Okay? That's what I'm saying. That's the difference.
Well, I heard the RAM is also 12 gigabytes of RAM, right?
I don't. I think 8.
It's 12 gigabytes of GDDR5.
It's probably. This is what I hope, anyways, because I'm hoping that they do dedicated VRAM, a dedicated system. So I'm hoping they do 16, 8 VRAM, 8 system.
Well, I mean,
what does that do? I mean, Hellheimer, we're not fucking nerds. Tell
Well,
us.
I mean, it's
Whatever
basically
that is, it just sounds
dedicated-
fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a dedicated frame buffer, so you don't have to worry about it swapping out between your game logic and your frames and your graphics. So you get a more consistent, clear frame rate. It just works better.
Okay, that sounds good. Did you and apparently Scorpio can improve existing Xbox One games resolution, and devs have an option to go back and do 4K updates on all games on Xbox
So
One.
you know we're gonna see like Halo 5 and stuff like that come back on 4K.
4K and Gears
I'd love
4.
to see Rise, man. Rise would be awesome.
Yeah, like look, and you know why that would be easy, GKB? Because Rise is 4K on PC.
PC, yeah.
So it would be probably
the
very
textures already
easy.
exist.
I
Yes.
think Rod Ferguson and a few others had mentioned this, that whatever we see, I think all Microsoft exclusives are going to get a revamp. When Scorpio comes out, much like Sony did with The Last of Us Remastered, we're going to get like maybe Rise, all these other games. Maybe how awesome, how amazing, and just the color contrast that you'd get off of Sunset Overdrive. How great would that look in 4K? I mean,
it would pop.
Isn't that amazing? Like even the boom, the blast with the orange and all the fizzy stuff, like just amazing texture stuff will pop off. So Microsoft could actually have Scorpio come out. They always come out with two or three amazing launch games to show the power of this thing, and then they'll also be able to give us a plethora of games. Like just revise, we'll put the game in, and it'll just whoop, bring it right up. It's gonna be beautiful, man. It's gonna be a thing of beauty. Anyone who doesn't think they're getting a Scorpio, I mean, if you're a fair weather gamer, you're probably not, and you're probably like, oh, screw you, Mooch, you're not gonna. That's fine. But anybody who even has a podcast, you already know you're going to have a Scorpio in your house. It's just
Everybody's going to have one. Come on, I mean.
Getting a Slim too, so.
Yeah. Hey, look. Here's the thing. We're Microsoft people, so we're doing it. I said I wasn't, but I was also the guy that said I was canceling my pre-order. So.
How could you not when you see it up there on the screen, man? I was just like,
I mean,
wow.
look, the thing looks.
You're canceling your pre-order.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I mean, people have to separate fact from fiction, right? I'm an Xbox guy. If I can't afford to get everything, I'll get everything Xbox. Like, to me, losing the PS4 wouldn't be, or not buying. I've got 9 games or 10 games, right?
Mine's already long gone.
Yeah, I have 250 some games on my Xbox One. You know what I mean? There's obviously.
Crap, you always bring up Assassin. Assassin was on Twitter all day today, asking people where he could get his best value on a PS4 trade-in. So he then started posting pictures. I guess you can get $175 for your PS4 right now.
Yeah.
And then he's thinking about getting a Slim, with that money, throwing a couple extra bucks in and getting a Slim.
Yeah. Some people I know already traded shit in and already paid off their Slims. You know what I mean? But like without actually having to pay any money out of pocket. Here's the thing: if you're a PS4 owner like us, it would be maybe a good idea to trade those in if you're not using it, because the resale value is going to go down once Neo comes out. So.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the resale market on those is going to be pretty bad. And hey, good job moderating, She-Wolf. I see you banning people.
Stupid people.
Those resale values are gonna drop like a fucking rock.
Yeah, it is. And so just real quick, also a surprise to me, even though like the hardcore might not think so, was Sea of Thieves. I thought this game looked fun.
That game looked awesome. And
I wanted a damn release date.
You know what I heard?
Beta.
This is what I heard from somebody, and I don't know if I can say who it is yet. They said that it's going to release. We might get a beta this year, but that it's going to release like March of next year, depending on Microsoft, because Microsoft already has 4 games coming out at the end of this year, and then Halo Wars coming out in February. So March might be a good thing. We might, you know what I'm saying, as far
March
as next
is going to be
year.
a good month too, man. We're going to get Scalebound and all that kind of stuff around there.
Scalebound looked awesome.
What did you
as
say
well.
was going to come out in spring?
Maybe March. Sea of Thieves, March.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
Listen, I got to say, the before Mooch and the after Mooch. So before Mooch said, when we were watching the E3 presser, pardon me, I said something along the lines of, this game looks to be really fun depending on the friends you have. But, pardon me, Jez, Gordon, and a bunch of other people that we all love and follow on Twitter and read their articles have said that they've been blown away by Sea of Thieves.
That's what I keep hearing too, Mooch.
Yeah, I keep hearing nothing but great things, and these are from people that would tell me if they were bored of it.
Yeah.
They're not listen, they're Microsoft fans, but they're not fanboys, so they're not hardcore to the point where they're just gonna okay it for no reason.
You know what? I asked Xbox Junkie who played it. He said it was a blast. Randall Thor played it. Xbox Jesus, as you know, Mr. 1 Million, Mr. Smooth with Jessica Chobot. Apparently, he was getting pictures with her and stuff. But anyway, he said she smells nice, by the way. But anyway,
It
so
just got weird.
Oh, you know what's funny? So crap. You know how I always go back and forth with iJustine, right?
yeah,
I got a DM today from Maka, who does the TXR podcast.
yeah.
And he goes, "Are you jelly, bro?" And it's him next to iJustine. I'm like, get the hell out of here.
You should have asked him to ask her what the hell she actually does.
Yeah, what is it you do? I still can't wait for my response on that. What is it you do here?
But apparently Southbound played it too.
Oh,
who was
well,
on
what
the
isn't it
podcast
that
last
they
week.
do?
Exactly. But everybody that's played this game says it's phenomenal. Like, to me, it looked fun. You know, they're shooting at each other, the ships and stuff. You can, like, start fixing your ship if it's going down. You know what I mean? Like, that to me looks very fun. You get your team or whatever. To me, it looks awesome. I can see, like, people are, like, off-put by the graphics or whatever because it looks that they're not, like super
Dude, I
adult
thought the
looking
graphics
or whatever.
fit it
But
well,
to me,
though.
yeah,
I
it
don't
fits
mean
it
to cut
perfect.
in, but I just want to say thanks to the 500 people watching.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice.
Hey, yeah, 500, damn, on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
You guys know what's up. I'm glad that you guys are around. But yeah, hey, also right now the Crew is free on Games with Gold right now on Xbox One.
Thank
So
you for that heads up, Crap. We'll be downloading that immediately.
yeah, the Crew, and you know what? I have that. Yeah, so I already had that, but yeah, it's actually a pretty good game. And Darian Spivey messaged me on Twitter. Xbox One S is the cheapest 4K Blu-ray player plus Cortana, next-gen games, tons of apps without ever changing the input on your TV. Boom, there you go. So I would say that this HDR stuff is even more important than some of the resolution issues or whatever. If the games are actually going to look better and pop and things like that. So I think that it's
HDR is a very important thing. I mean, it's going to be one of the next big things.
yeah.
I just
Go
want to. I know you guys could probably talk about like the Slim and the Scorpio for probably 4 to 7 hours, but
Oh, I love that
you know,
Scorpio.
there's some other things that Microsoft kind of brought that was pretty intense too. Like they're bringing Looking for Group.
Yes, you can. Yes, it is. Like they were, you know what? They also, you know what they announced that people would have probably loved if Sony would announce that they're adding more dedicated servers to Xbox Live.
That's
right?
what was really cool, man. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
nice. They're improving the network.
Looking for Group, She-Wolf, good point. To be honest with you, that's something that won't be huge until it launches because people don't, they just read it, they don't know what it is. Looking for Group, just for example, I'll give my example. I had to use Twitter, exactly. I had to use Twitter last week to find somebody to help me get that Black Spindle mission completed in Destiny. And it would be really great if I could have just posted that out there, and then people were like, "Oh yeah, no, I'll help you with that." And actually, Phil was on Xbox Daily yesterday with Major Nelson, and he gave a great example. He was like, it was him or it was Mike Ibarra. I think it was Phil. Phil's like, how about older guys that just want to play? He made a group that said like older guys that want to play without cussing.
Yeah,
you know, because he's like, we all know that Phil doesn't like to swear, so like that's just like his MO. So it's really hard. You game with him, you can't curse, you can, but he's just not high on it. So I mean, that's one thing, but there is different things, right? Like I'll be honest with you. So She-Wolf has said it a number of times, and it's a shame because like I used to see She-Wolf was online all the time, and now she has to always be offline, which kind of sucks because of certain reasons. But like she could always be like, hey, maybe I don't.
It's
feel
because
like
somebody's stalking her, isn't it?
Well, it's probably because the internet's stalking her. But I'm saying, like, so, like, I mean, but that's unfortunate because, like, she's a friend, and it's like now it's like even GKB. I don't. Sometimes I think you're offline too. I'm not sure. I don't see you guys on as much as I used to at night. Either that or you're just not on.
Actually, the last few days, bro, I've been like streaming like crazy. And I've just been tired, man. I just.
Oh no! By no means you don't have to make excuses. Like, I understand. I passed like 11 o'clock last night. I'm going to bed. I'm like fuck this. But like my point being is that
not everybody can stay up all night like Crapgamer.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I crashed like a little bitch, man. I'm not.
Crap's never on past 10 o'clock, and when he is,
I'm just referencing that time when you're like, I'm gonna be up all night.
What's this Saturday night's gonna be? What's this game?
Actually, it's for people to vote for on Twitter.
Halo's winning.
Yeah, it is.
I voted for Forza.
If you put Halo in the running, Halo's always going to win your
Actually, Forza's pretty close to it, though.
Yeah, they're pretty neck and neck.
Wait, Forza 6?
Yeah.
It's Forza, Gears, and like Halo are just like neck and neck.
Which Forza is it, GKB?
Doesn't matter to me because I got them all.
Yeah, whatever anybody wants to play. I'm fine.
I said I'm going to call in sick if it ends up being Forza.
Yeah, if it's Forza, I'm out. Like,
you should have put soccer cars up.
I'm telling you.
The problem with soccer cards, though, is the limit. Like, we need games that can actually have a higher capacity of players.
Yeah. Although hopefully Xbox Live will cooperate this week.
Some good parties this week.
Yeah. You know, hey, I'm not even against getting back on Titanfall because I didn't get to play as much because it sucks when you can't talk shit. Like I was like, hey GKB, how you like that? Right?
Yeah, I was really disappointed in that. I was getting on and then I just kept lagging out. So then I just kind of hung out in one of the chats and just talked with people while I played a different game because I didn't want to. I liked all the trash talking and stuff. That's what the fuck.
Which you know, speaking of the whole community game time and stuff, kind of goes into another point of what Xbox is bringing. Their whole Xbox clubs, where you know people are going to be able to like post clips and comments and stuff like that about the game night and bring more people into it and all that. So that's another great feature.
And the community's really cool about that too, man. They're already like, let's make a Crossfire, Xbox Nation, Console Corner one. It's like, yeah, let's do that.
Hey, do I get my prop for telling you guys this was happening months ago?
No.
Come on, man. Come on.
That's just like you told us all to fuck off because we proved you wrong about something.
I said it was what Bethesda would start with.
Yeah, I know.
And it did show that damn thing that I thought they would, but that just turned out to be a trailer at the beginning or whatever before the show went live.
Preview.
Yeah, so I mean it was interesting, but yeah, so they're improving Xbox Live, giving us like the social stuff that like we want, more dedicated servers for a more stable online. Yeah, I absolutely love what they're doing. I can't say that enough. I think that what they're doing is fantastic. The controller stuff, hey, that Gears controller looks sick. Apparently, that's super limited edition. That's
I want that so fucking bad too.
$200, and apparently that's Rod Ferguson's bloody thumbprints on it. So
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so apparently that's pretty. You know what? That guy loves Gears. Like, could they have gotten a better guy? I mean, it's not going to surprise me if that game does really well and people like it. It also wouldn't surprise me if like the average site hated it because it didn't take quote unquote enough risks or whatever.
I don't know, man. That game looked awesome.
It did.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that to me. They're like, "How come
it looks
safe.
Take
any risks?" I'm like, "How do you take safe? It
doesn't need to take risks."
Hey, I don't think it was. I think that the safer thing would have been for them to like take place right after that had happened in Gears 3, right? Going in the future, 20, 25 years with Marcus's kid and
with new characters,
that's very risky. And not only that, it's got Spartacus is the main character, so. And Marcus was in it, like that. He's like, "Hey, welcome home," or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Bender.
Yeah, me, Bender. But anyway, yeah. So I know. So, but it's funny because check this out. Gears of War. Somebody just mentioned that Scourge. Shout out to him in the chat box. He said Gears of War 4 equals same old. Uncharted 4 equals oh my god, game of the year, 10 out of 10. Like, that's exactly basically what's going to happen, and we know it. You know what I mean?
Speaking of games, big one that everyone's been kind of oh my god for finally got a release date of September 13th. Recore.
Yeah.
Recore.
Yes.
Yep.
Big fan. Big fan.
I am.
Huge.
This is, hey, just so you guys know, like, that are wondering what kind of game this is, because I get this question a lot. Like, Jez Gordon made a nice little write-up about it. He writes for Windows Central. He was on Crossfire like a week or two ago. And he said that he talked to some of the people. Recore is basically, think of 3D Mega Man, or think of a third-person Metroid Prime. That's what it is. And he said that the reason it's $40 isn't because it's a budget title, because it's supposedly 12 hours just if you play through it normal, and there's all kinds of other stuff you can unlock. It can be much longer. But the reason they said it at that price was quote unquote accessibility, because they want this franchise to take off, and they figure kids will buy it at 40 with their pocket change or whatever. That's basically the thinking behind this.
That is a pro-consumer move, though.
Yes.
Yeah,
So they listen
And plus,
to
it's
the
a new
fans
IP.
when everybody.
They're doing exactly what they did with Batman Arkham Asylum. Remember, that was like $40, and that took off like massively. And then, the second one, then you could charge $60. If there's a Recore 2.
This is another game too. Like, all our friends are, at E3 and playing it, and again, like everybody's saying, it's phenomenal. It plays great.
After you queue up for 5
At
hours.
40, at 40, I could see it sell great at 40, especially. So we could see a Recore 2 potentially.
Guess what? It's already on Amazon's top 50. You know what I mean? Like, so.
I mean, the game looks amazing. So, I mean,
Hey, She-Wolf, what were you saying? Because like a couple people were talking.
Well, I was just going to point out that, is it possible they actually listen to the fans? There was that whole debate about Overwatch and their price range with only having a single or a multiplayer mode and no single mode, where this game is only a single mode and no multiplayer mode. So kind of makes you wonder if devs are actually paying attention to what the fans are saying, and they're like, you know what, that's actually a smart idea. It's a single player, it's a new IP, we need this to succeed, so if we drop $20, do we have a better chance at selling it? And
Yes.
everyone's like, $40, let's do this. And
I mean, is everybody in here is going to get this game, right? I mean, for $40.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, the logic worked with Ratchet and Clank too. You take that Ratchet and Clank game that everybody's been so high on, you bump that puppy to $60, not so high on it anymore.
Nobody's going to buy. I mean, I got it for free, but
Right.
like nobody's going to. I wouldn't have bought. Like, had I not got it for 60 or for free, I wouldn't have paid 60 for it. You know what I mean? $40 is a better price point, in my opinion, for games that don't have multiplayer. So I'm definitely fine with that. I think that it's phenomenal. And what did you guys think about their kind of push for Xbox Play everywhere? To me, it doesn't make a difference, but
Did you guys see the ad that came out today? Did you guys see the ad that came out for it today?
no.
Xbox Play Anywhere. Really? First time, I mean, I don't know if between the branding, the design, the fact that the boxes changed, I'm seeing the ads are much, much better. I think they hired some new people, to be honest with you. A lot of new people, to be honest, as far as marketing goes. This ad they ran today was great. Do I think I will use it all the time? No. Do I think it's awesome? Yes. And I'll tell you why. A lot of times I travel for work, and I was just telling my wife, and crap, you're going to stand up and light a match when I say this. And Iron Wolf's gonna shake his head at me, but then he'll go, I kind of see where you're coming from. I'm never really leaving the Apple family, but I'm going to once. I've now had this iMac for about, I want to say, 3 or 4 years. When it's time to upgrade the home desktop, I'm gonna go get myself a pretty damn beefy Windows 10 PC.
Hell yeah! Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's happening. It's happening. I mean, I think my mobile devices will continue. iPads and phones and watches will all be Apple. But as far as stationary things in the home, I just think that the PC is a better fit. Now, all these things coming to play are really cool as well. Like I'm anyone that's on the panel, anyone that's listening to the podcast, anyone who's a parent, okay, a parent. I have way too many TVs in this house to begin with, but for some reason I still can't get one. So it wouldn't be bad if I had to say, all things aside, Scorpio, Xbox One Slim, turn it on, and then be able to just. I'm playing. It happened to me the other day. I was in the middle of I'm right at the end of this level in Doom, and after I beat it, before I advance to the next one, I try to go back and get all the whatever the perks are there. There's the little icons you collect and the collectibles, and there's the secrets and the whatever. So I'm like just about to finish this up, and my kids are like come home. They're like, oh no, I want to. And I was like, I don't want to like go downstairs. I would like to just come into I could have came into the office, turned on the PC, and just finished the game over here. There is a time and a place for it. It's
just a quick question, Mooch. Just a quick question, Mooch. I just wanted to ask you something quickly. So she would just hold it right there. You could get right back to what you're saying. Just a quick question. I was just going to ask you that. All right, this Xbox Play Anywhere thing.
Yes.
Now, I just wanted to know if, the Surface Book or the Surface Pro, would it be able to play some Xbox One games?
Yes.
If you get a more powerful Surface.
I would say,
so how much would you have to spend on the Surface? Because with the Surface you could go out there and play and take your Xbox One controller.
Let me. I think Hellhammer wants to chime in because the answer is it's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is kind of right because as far as I know, the Surfaces right now don't have a graphics processor besides the onboard, which is that's fine. Like the onboard chipset for Intel is great, but it's not going to be enough to really play. You're not going to play like Gears on it.
Well, I
think it was last year when they announced the Surface Book, somebody played Gears Ultimate on it.
I think you can Hellhammer on like the Surface Book and the Surface Pro.
Yeah, I can't say for certain because I haven't. To be honest with you, they're a bit pricey for what I do. For
the Surface Pro 3 is like $800 to start.
So it's like for as far as that goes, I can't say for certain because I haven't looked at the specs really, to be honest.
Right,
but,
and that's why I said. Well, if I was careful in my choice of words, I didn't go mobile like that. I said desktop. When I go to get because I spent. And Wolf, you'll know this.
The reason I mentioned it because of the Xbox Play Anywhere thing. So I thought, okay, I assumed that tablet too.
It does mean tablet. They definitely mean tablet, but how it's going to perform depending on the tablet you purchase.
And depending on if Microsoft wants to actually release, maybe they might release a dedicated tablet or something like that just strictly for that.
Or they might just release game streaming to where if you have the game, you can just stream it over a network or something too.
We can already do that.
These new Xbox controllers have Bluetooth in it, so apparently you could pair it with an iPhone and an iPad, and you could play games on it.
Yeah. She-Wolf, what were you going to say? Because you keep getting cut off, and I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. I already know you gotta fight your way into the crazy men and anyways. No, I was just gonna say. So that can kind of hint to a good idea for a Slim for somebody like you in your predicament or anybody else who's listening that, could always get a Slim and a TV or like a monitor or something and kind of put it in your office.
Yeah, right now you can get a 21-inch 1080p IPS monitor on Amazon for $100.
Well, you can also wait for Black Friday and you can they have crazy deals for any of them, so it's just, an idea, just because, that's how me and GK, because we have 2 kids, and the way our setups are is we each have, 3 screens that are hooked up to our Xboxes and our computers, and we just game off of those, so if you have your own little work area, the Slim would be perfect for you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That is true, but Mooch is going to end up with 5 Xbox One Slims, I guarantee it.
And 2 Scorpios.
Yeah, he's
you like that? I put my order in on Crap. Was it Crap Show?
Dude, people kept messaging me. They're like, dude, that was so hilarious. Fucking Mooch calls up GameStop live on the air and asks him how much he can get for a trade-in. He's like, put me down for 2 of those and a Scorpio.
I'm like, I'll take 2 Scorpios and 1 Slim, please. Under the name Mooch.
I got a question for you guys. What did you guys think of Tekken 7 being on Microsoft stage?
I'm not.
I thought that was interesting.
I've never
played Sony.
I was happy about that personally because I'm a big fan
I've never
of Tekken.
played a Tekken game. I'm downloading Tekken. What is that they
Tekken
have?
Tag.
Tekken Tag.
I think that you might actually like Tekken. Tekken's kind of like a mix of I'll say probably closer to a mix of Killer Instinct and Street Fighter.
I would say Dead or Alive.
Yeah, kind of like that too.
Yeah, I can see that there.
Yo, dude, Scourge, that's your name, right? You said if they sell Scorpio for $400 to $450, it'll sell well. Dude, think about this. The Xbox One S is selling for $400. The Scorpio, as Phil Spencer has already said, it's a premium price for hardcore gamers. This thing's probably I wouldn't doubt it if it's $550.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and say The Scorpio is probably anywhere from 500 to 600.
That's why I said 500 to 600.
I'm gonna break your hearts here, people. Okay, but I would rather talk about it now and not get overwhelmed later. This bad boy's over $600, and you can write that down. Oh, absolutely.
Here's the thing, Mooch. I would agree, but here's why you're wrong. The RX 480 is 6.5 teraflops. It comes out the end of this month. It'll be $199 for a consumer to go buy it off the shelf. So basically, that's $200 right there.
I think we're at 500, honestly.
Yeah, and then we have 12 gigs of GDDR5 RAM.
Yeah, I mean, look, even if you do 8 gigs of DDR4 and 8 gigs of GDDR5, and you do a split setup like that, you're still looking, because look, you got to remember too, it's $200 for that RX 480 with 8 gigs of GDDR5 RAM built onto that board.
Well, that's what we would pay. Microsoft.
Yeah, that's what we would pay as a consumer. I go to a big box store or off of Newegg or Amazon, and that's how much I have to put down to buy it.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. So, good. Then you parlayed me into my next bit that goes back to my original bit, which is the biased media. Media has already started projecting. They're like, what is this going to cost? And a lot of the outlets are already projecting $700 to $800.
No, I don't think so. That's the thing, right? Like, I mean, it's obviously going to be using a new architecture for the CPU too, right? Like, it's not going to be a Jaguar core because those things are fucking slow. And you're gonna basically bottleneck and be worthless to have that 6.5 teraflops. The same thing I said about the Neo is the same thing that holds true with that, and even more so because the Neo is what, like just over 4 teraflops versus 6. So it's gonna have to be.
But
Zen.
the Neo CPU they just clocked it, right?
They overclocked that shitty CPU.
Yeah, they just overclocked the fucking thing.
So the Scorpio, we're just gonna get a more beefier CPU, or they're gonna overclock that too?
I think they're gonna put a Zen CPU, probably clocked at close to 2 gigahertz.
Yeah, if you look at
I feel you with Zen and all that kind of stuff too, but it was kind of funny though on the Daily Show today. They were actually talking to the Intel guy and talking about like CPUs. I just thought it was kind of interesting.
They had somebody from Intel up there.
Yeah, they're talking about their new architecture for CPUs, which is kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, the thing is Intel is the better manufacturer. And I mean, at least now, anyways. I mean, I used to be an AMD person, but Intel's got the edge.
Look, guys, you think that the Scorpio is going to be $449? You're going to be disappointed. I'm telling you, this is not a console like for everyone.
No, I mean,
it's not for the average gamer.
Yeah, it's going to be.
It's not for hey, I'm going to go out and buy a new console now because I want a new console. This is for, hey, I want the best experience, and I'm a gamer. I play fucking 2 or 3 hours a day.
But to speak into Hellhammer's point, though, like, I mean, he's pretty spot on as far as like the price for like off-the-shelf parts, and if those are in there, I could definitely see a $500 price point.
Yeah, because look, you got $200 for that, 8 gigs of DDR4, and I know I just bought 16 gigs for $35 off the shelf.
Which 500 isn't a bad price though, because people were paying that for like an Xbox One and a Kinect.
Yeah, that's what we all paid.
You're botting.
You're botting right now.
Yeah, man.
It's so good until now.
Yeah, but if it's going to be 500, man,
the
I
very
think they're
top
going
of
to
the
take a
line,
loss.
I would say it would be.
But don't you think they're going to take a loss, like if it's 500?
I don't
I'd
think
say
they
600,
would.
man.
I think that they would probably break pretty close to even, but I think at this point, Microsoft would just want to be able to get those sales numbers and basically be able to pound their chest and be like, hey, look, we got the most powerful console that's ever fucking made.
Well, I'm putting it out there between 550 and 6. No more, no less.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be more than 6. I can throw that right now.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like, here's the thing. Like, Neo, the price of that will be interesting, and a lot of people are like, can they match the specs? Right? Here's the thing. The specs for the stuff that's coming to Xbox Scorpio aren't out yet, so... so basically...
They haven't revealed the final specs yet.
Yeah, and not to mention that, okay, so the Neo is supposed to come out a little bit ahead of time, so they have something going against them as well, that they're not going to, this tech isn't going to be out as long, so it's not going to be as discounted.
I love Jamie Moran's tweet. He's like, yes, 2 gigahertz. And it's like that fucking, look at the tweet. It's like, he doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about, but it's funny. Yes, 2 gigahertz, huh? Indeed. It's like me with all this tech
Well, I
shit.
mean,
Who the hell-
2
I think we want
gigahertz
to talk about games.
isn't
That's what I think.
isn't that fast, but it's like for a console, they're running at less than 2 right now, both of them. That's pretty impressive.
So Hellhammer,
Yeah.
look, you are a technical guy. You talk about chips, you talk about graphics, and all that kind of stuff. I just want to know, like, with this Scorpio and with the chips that it has on the box, do you think it could achieve ray tracing graphics?
I mean, potentially. I mean, it's probably a little low end for that though.
You think? With 6 teraflops, you cannot get ray tracing.
I mean, it just depends too. I mean, it's you're looking at, we haven't seen what the actual architecture of the chip is either. I mean, we obviously know it's Polaris or
They slapped a big 4K on the front of it.
yeah. I mean, we could potentially see it here where it's.
Well, I remember like at one point Phil was saying that at their research team they were experimenting on they were actually experimenting on ray tracing. So do you think that was for the Scorpio, or do you think that was just?
I mean, mostly if they said they were, then they probably were testing it on there. I think.
Huh.
I mean, that's going to be fairly powerful. I mean,
If you go on YouTube when you look at some of those ray tracing demos, man, it looks fucking insane, yo.
I mean, look, we haven't seen anything on a console that's just powerful yet. I mean, we've seen PCs. I mean, obviously this is still a step down from what most people would consider an enthusiast level PC, even as right now. But of course, that's why I'm saying it's going to have to be cheaper than that, right? Because at $800, I'm building a PC that fucking outperforms everything everything that's going on.
Fair enough.
But they're going after the console enthusiast. There's those that, like for me, what Scorpio is going to do is it's going to be better than the majority of the PC guys who are going around fronting like they're some master race, but are actually running shit less than a Wii U. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have me a console that does better than the majority of PC players, and it's going to be the most powerful console ever created, and it's created by one Phil Spencer, who is actually taking shots and taking fucking names like a champ now. About fucking time, you know what I mean? But I want to get back to the games. We're gonna talk a little bit about Sony's E3.
Let's do it.
Wait. I've been like waiting to like throw this in, but you guys just keep talking about the Scorpio.
Scorpio. Go ahead.
Scorpio.
Is anyone getting the custom controllers that they're bringing out?
I want one.
Here's the thing with the fact that I have 2 Elite controllers, the only one that can be talked into right now is maybe the Gears one. But,
Even though you can have your gamer tag on this?
I like that, but I would have liked it if I could have had the Xbox Pope make my design and send it over.
That'd be cool too.
Just to have the color red and like white nubs and a red like trigger. I don't know. I want more customization than they're actually giving us. That's my problem.
And it's $89 in total.
Yeah, and for $89, look, I don't know why they didn't offer ability to customize for a little bit more at Elite, because I'm not going to buy a controller that's custom and go from my Elite controller, which I love.
Yeah,
I can see that coming down the lane though. Like they'd start with this, see how the the reaction is, and then move on to the Elite.
Hard. I'm excited to try the new Slim controller with the new like the grips they put on there and everything like that. But that's going to be like the Lunar White. I actually the other day for fun.
But this controller has the grips and everything. This controller is apparently the same one that's going to be in the Slim.
But what I was going to say, my finish line on that was going to be, however, I don't think even with the new Slim controller, I don't see leaving. I got a problem right now. I can't use anything but the Elite.
Yeah, I'm on the same problem. So.
Yeah, the other day I was just playing some Doom, right? And I took my Elite, and it wasn't even that low, but I was like, I'll charge it up for a night, because at night usually everyone gets on. I want to make sure I have a full controller. So I'm like, I'll charge it. I'll use one of my other controllers. For the first time in months, I picked up my standard black controller, and I was like, I don't even know how to say it. It was almost like I wasn't playing the same game. Like, it was hard to, like, the depressing of the left analog was a little bit slower. But the difference to have to pull the trigger all the way down versus the shorter pull, like everything was out of whack. I was like, wow, I'm gonna go use that half-charged Elite controller. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, the dead zone's pretty real on that controller compared to the Elite.
I just can't.
More responsive, man.
I hate to say, I have 2 Elites. I gotta be honest with you. I'm so scared.
Once
I might
you
have to
go
go buy
Elite,
another
you
one.
never go back.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
So yeah, I think you know what I liked it. So to answer your question, I think that I like what Microsoft is doing. They are you can almost tell that they're not really going after Sony per se. They're more or less going after Apple, like the way they're doing things, right? Like with the fancy colors, design your own thing, and that fucking box that they're using for the Slim, that thing screams Apple. You know what I mean? And the white. I think
that's what sells right now.
Yeah, it's all about the packaging, man.
Yeah, they're trying to throw back to the 360 too, like with the white and the white. You know what I mean? Like they are. Like people associate that with the good
I always said that. I thought that the white consoles looked better, and it feels more like a game console.
It looks more like a game console.
I would have expected they would have kept the green, like the button when it turns on. I thought they would have like maybe kept it green for Xbox, but instead they went with blue.
Yeah, the LED light on the button.
Hey, they rebranded it, but it seems to have worked because I think it sold out on Amazon.
Holy shit!
The initial thing or whatever. Those are they only have the $3.99 one up so far. So things are looking good for Microsoft. I know people are like, oh, they need more than a Slim, but apparently this HDR thing is real. You know what I mean? It's the cheapest 4K Blu-ray player.
See, this is a prediction I'm going to make, Crap, right? Like, from the moment the Slim drops, Microsoft are going to win every single MPD from here on in, from the moment the Slim drops.
Listen, you know what? That's bold, but there's a little bit of accuracy there. There's a little bit of accuracy there, and I got to give Wolf credit.
Exclusives as well, but that's Slim. Everyone's going to want to buy it. Okay, Blu-ray player, man.
Yeah. You know what? This is what I'll think. See, somebody just said it's out of stock on Amazon. So
there you go. That's a clear sign right there, man.
I wish they would have come out with it not in August, though. I wish they would have come out in July.
I'm gonna play the Randolph Thor card here. Be a little bit of the downer.
You're gonna get a million gamer score.
Well, I'm gonna say that just because something sold out on Amazon doesn't necessarily mean much because you can pre-order on Amazon with no money down.
Oh, I get that, but look, it's always a good indication as to how something's doing.
I agree. I'm just saying that don't expect that to be like translate the super sales numbers for it because then you don't need money down.
Like check this out. The Division that was up there all the time.
I'm gonna cut in. How about them Sony games? Seems we went right back to consoles again.
Damn it! Those Sony games. Yeah. Okay. So Sony started off really well, I thought. They came out. It was hit after hit.
I don't want to talk about Sony. This is boring.
But here's the thing, right? And the media's all like, "Man, Sony won E3," and I'm like, "Okay, here's the thing. If Sony won E3, let me go down my checklist of games that I pre-ordered that they showed. Okay, none. Let me see the hardware that I ordered that they showed none. Now let me go over to Xbox. What did I pre-order? Gears 4, Forza Horizon 3, Xbox Slim, ReCore." What the hell is this other game? Dead Rising 4. Okay, so you 4 exclusives and a fucking console.
Man, I'm dropping like $600 on fucking games this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and on the Sony side, look, I know people are going to be like, but Gravity Rush, they don't even have a release date for that. They didn't think enough of that game to even
give
it a spot.
I played that game on my fucking Vita when I owned it for 3 months.
But here's the thing, they didn't even give that game a spot on the show. Gran Turismo Sport, they didn't even show it. Possibly because Horizon 3 kicked the shit out of it, right?
I thought Persona 5 was supposed to be shown
next year. Like that game doesn't come out till next, but there's not a big audience for that. There's not a big audience for that.
But I mean, realize something like God of War, Horizon, Days Gone, the Spider-Man, the Crack, they're all single-player games.
Yeah,
they lack that variety, and all these games they look the same environments, all in the all in the wilderness and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know, with God of War, I don't know, it just seemed like they were copying Rise, but not only that, it's just you had the flipping child companion there, just like the last.
I felt like when I was watching.
No, but what is it with Sony and having child companions in games, man? That's some weird shit, yo.
Well, here's the thing, right? I think Horizon Zero Dawn looks like The Last of Us and kind of like Rise of the Tomb Raider. That God of War looked the same. Days Gone. They all look almost like the same. Like you could interchange them. Right?
The only difference was character models.
Detroit is becoming human, though.
Yeah. Okay. Detroit Become Human is one of those like.
It's one of those, what do you call it there, Beyond Two Souls games.
Yeah, it's a niche thing. It's like it's like the Telltale games.
Like all you have to do is watch it on Twitch and hold a controller. You get the same experience.
I know what it is.
Damn.
I still thought it was me.
That's cold-blooded.
Hey, no. Listen, it's fine because look, I liked Until Dawn. You know, and that game's not for everybody. It's like some people like certain types of games. If she likes it, that's fine. I'm not gonna knock it because
no, it's not that. I actually just have a hard time playing those games. I actually downloaded The Wolf Among Us, and I will say this: it is better than the other ones. But I have yet to go back to it since that first night.
Oh man, The Wolf Among Us was awesome.
It just puts you into
one of the best games like that.
Yeah, but if you have kids, like it's almost like sitting down and reading a story to your kids before they go to sleep. Like that game is like it puts me into a coma. Like I don't even know what the hell I'd have to put like smelling salts under my nose before I play it. Like it's a story, and then they're like, "What do you want to do?" I like how they put a little timer at the bottom, and then you choose a path. Like there's nothing. You're not ever gonna just die. Like you just keep progressing. It's just one story may be better than the other story if you press.
Oh, you'll die. You'll eventually die if you don't QTE right, but then they'll just push you back.
But at all. I meant, but if you pick something, you don't die.
Yeah.
You know. It's like,
sometimes if you pick something, you die.
Hey, those games aren't for everyone. Like I get that. But here's
the only multiplayer game they showed was Call of Duty, right? Everything else was single player.
You know, here's the thing, right? Everybody.
Yeah, actually.
Everybody hated Call of Duty, right? Everybody hated it. Millions of people dislike this game, right? Then, once it's on Sony's actual stage, I'm looking at Twitter, and everybody's like, man, if they had shown this trailer, nobody would have disliked it. It looks awesome. And I'm sitting there thinking, are you fucking serious?
See, we were talking about that too, man, like on the show when we were streaming it. And we were kind of like, if we didn't know Call of Duty and they just showed this game and it wasn't Call of Duty, I think everybody would love this game. But because it's Call of Duty and it's not boots on the ground, it's fucking a catastrophe, and I can't stand it. Like
I don't know. They should have just.
I think that game looks like
a new IP.
Catastrophe.
They should have just called it like some Galaxy game, like Galaxy to Space or something like that, and just left Call of Duty out completely.
Dude, we were watching it. Nobody knew it was Call of Duty for 5 minutes.
I thought it was Titanfall 2, man, for a second. That's
right. Oh god, no! It's in space. Why would you think it's Titanfall 2?
It looked like Chappie the movie too.
Titanfall, I thought some elements of it might have been in space. Well, the second one anyway.
Yeah, there were some mechs and stuff, so we were all kind of like, what is this? And then I seen people on Twitter go, wow, this Call of Duty looks awesome. And I'm like, yo, Mooch, Z, this is Call of Duty. And they're like, is it? And I'm like, yeah, people are saying it's Call of Duty. This is, they're in the space, and the guy's got a hook, and he's like, I'm like, and me and Helheimer are watching it later, and he's like, how are those bullets even firing in space? There's no oxygen.
I think it would have been better off if it was a new franchise altogether, man. New IP.
That's what I'm thinking. Like they should.
They would have got more credit for it. You know what I mean? Rebranded it something else.
Yeah. So.
But I think as far as like.
Here's the thing, like they could have literally rebranded it as a different game and still did the Call of Duty 4 release and still made the same amount of fucking money. So
I think like all around, I think a lot of the shows were lacking this year, and Sony is no exception for me, and this is just my opinion. I thought it was really slow to get going. There's like this big orchestral thing going on, and then they showed God of War, which I'm not going to lie, man, that looked like a really good game.
Yeah.
Like they changed a lot of things that I didn't like in the other God of Wars and
like
stuff.
Kratos was a dick and was always screaming.
Still's kind of a dick too, though, in this one.
Yeah, he is, but he's a different voice actor now, so.
It was funny that he got shot in the arm by his son, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they kind of like, I don't know about you guys, but like as the show went on, I was just like, all right, there's VR. I hate VR. I hate it in everybody's show, so whatever.
But, GKB, before you get to VR, we should talk about the Kratos God of War. First of all,
yeah, sure.
Anyone that says they loved God of War, then you don't love it anymore, because that God of War that I saw is not the God of War that you fell in love with for the past 8 to 10 years.
That game reminded me a lot of Shadow of Mordor.
It was Shadow of Mordor meets Rise.
Yeah, it's a very.
But to its defense, though, it had to evolve, though, man. So
I'll say it. Yeah, that the gameplay stuff was very Rise and Shadow of Mordor looking, but the actual graphics when I first watched it, I was like, it looks kind of like a Tomb Raider reboot, or Rise of the Tomb Raider kind of like forest area.
It looked a bit blurry, though, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's in Neo mode. Going forward, everything's gonna be in Neo mode, guys. Come on.
But I think like Mooch was like getting on a good point there. Was like as far as like the fans of like old God of War, are they really gonna like this game? Like who knows?
I saw people complaining. They're like, they call it Daddy of War or whatever, right? They don't like that. You know what I'm saying? And I can understand that. If you really like the old ones, you probably won't like this. The reason why I like
this
the old
ones,
like a
reboot though. Not
it is. It is a reboot.
I just hope throughout
the whole
game.
Wait.
I just hope throughout that whole game you don't have to babysit or anything like that.
Escort your kid through the whole game.
So it's just called God of War, right?
Yeah, I think.
When I read a thing
but
that says
do you remember like when they
3.
built Uncharted for the PS4? It was just called Uncharted, and then they called it Uncharted 4. So I think it is God of War 4.
Yeah.
He does look older.
To
He
me,
has
though,
a beard now.
It looks like almost a reboot, like a almost retelling of a God of War game.
Yeah.
Like trying to
See, the
appease
thing
like to
is,
new people.
This goes back to what Crap was saying when they're like, "Oh, that looks a little 2 Gears of 4-ish. It looks very safe." But Uncharted 4 is exactly the same 10 out of 10. It's like if Microsoft changed Gears of War the way that Sony changed God of War, there would be an uproar, and it would be an uproar in the Gears camp. It would be an uproar on Xbox, and the ponies would just hop on it and pretend they gave a shit, but it would just be like them, busting our balls.
Daycare edition.
Yeah.
Right.
Daddy of War.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen a lot of that.
My whole thing was just, here's the thing, God of War, the way that they have it coming out for the PS4, is actually more appealing to someone like me because I hated the first 3, but forget about me, right? God of War 3 and 2 and 1. They were a huge success on Sony's platform. To change it so drastically, to just be like a game that's pretty much on rails at this point, but it's on rails from this aspect that's like Rise. It's not. It doesn't feel the same. Like you're not gonna have the whips and the fire flaming off of your whips or the electric. I mean, you're losing all of what God of War is.
That over the top action. You're not.
Hey, does anybody know if you can control the camera in this? I didn't even pay that close attention.
It looked like you can though. It looked like
Yeah, it looked like at certain spots, like when they're walking through the forest and stuff, you can.
You had that over the shoulder camera, just like Rise as well.
Okay, because like one of my big beefs with the old God of War games were, well, I had 2. One, Kratos was a dick, and the second was the static camera.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I hate it.
So hopefully they fix that. Like, I like God of War, so to me, this one looks interesting. Probably.
Real quick, Crap, can I cut in real fast, man? Like,
yeah, go ahead, man. Double Dutch in.
I wanted to add, like, people are saying like they think it, it's a like the same or not the same Kratos. It's like a whole different one. And here's why I don't think that's true is because when he used some of his powers, it was like the Spartan charge. Well, if you look at like Spartans, like that's back in Greek mythology and stuff like that. So I definitely think this is still the same Kratos, but I think it's just redone kind of.
Yeah, well, they say apparently it takes place after God of War 3. So he's older. I guess he's got some kid or something. I don't know. So he definitely seems like he's calmed down a bit, and then supposedly it takes place in some of the Norse mythology areas now.
I was gonna say it's like a northern feel, like for instance, Game of Thrones almost.
It's kind of what I was saying. Like it feels like a reboot to me. Just it's Kratos and do new different time or something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, look, it's still Kratos, but they're just calling it God of War. Like, probably Microsoft could have got away with calling Gears of War 4 or something besides Gears of War 4. They could have called it Gears of War, right? And then people, I mean, because sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes, like with Ratchet and Clank, right? 7 Ratchet and Clank games came out last gen on PS3. 7. And that includes like a remaster collection that was out on there, right? So, and they didn't start to sell well because people didn't know where to jump in. Eventually, you have to realize that the first Gears of War came out in 2006, 10 years ago. God of War came out in, I think, 2005 or 2006. So people that are gaming now might never have played those. So sometimes you got to reintroduce these characters and show them off like the first time again. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what they're doing with that. And then they showed off that Days Gone game, which Mooch seemed to like.
That game reminded me of the TV show The Strain.
I didn't like it at first either with the trailer. I was kind of like, what is this? I don't know where it's really going. But then when they went back and actually did the gameplay, I thought it was kind of like cool and stuff, and I could definitely get into that type of game.
I liked it. My only fear is that if you look at the timeline, it looks like it's going to line right up with The Last of Us 2. And unfortunately, just because you have a lot more zombies, I know in The Last of Us it's more of a virus strain, but it's too eerily similar, and that's my only thing. Am I into it? Yes. I still think The Last of Us 2 would kill it, and it's too the same. It's like if Gears of War, and then what if they just had like Gears of the Art of War? All of a sudden you'd be like, well, it's the same thing. You're just changing it slightly. That's the thing. Everything that Sony showed looked like they made copy and paste. So you had Horizon, and then you had that same kind of look in God of War. And then you had Days Gone looked a lot like The Last
The
of Us.
Last of Us, yeah.
I mean,
same kind of wilderness and the same environment. Only different was the character models.
And then you had that Detroit game look like all the other games, like what is it there? What was
Heavy
that?
Rain and Beyond Two Souls. Yeah.
So my point is, when everyone keeps giving Sony all this credit for being great game makers, I think they've hit their threshold because now they're recycling. A lot of this is recycling.
Well, can I be honest? Like, I like zombie games, but I like that Microsoft has 2 coming out. One of them is like a lighthearted zombie game, right? Like,
hey, listen, I know you go to bed before the streetlights come on, but State of Decay 2, we got to link up for that because I know you're
look, it's 4-player co-op, so I'm down. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, I'm down.
I'm playing.
I'm down. There we go.
Down with that.
And so yeah, and they have the more serious one, but that's like the cooperative one, which is State of Decay. And like you like The Last of Us, but how many like zombie games, like serious like apocalyptic games are they going to start coming out? I think people are starting to get kind of annoyed with it.
Well, but I think Days Gone looked a little bit serious. Yeah, that serious kind of tone.
Yeah, but here's the thing: it looked generic to me, and then apparently they had problems getting people to try this game at E3. Nobody was playing it.
The zombie genre is like way overplayed. There's so much shit out there with zombies right now.
Because even The Last of Us was zombies.
I don't know. I don't really know if it's overplayed because I'm going to take you guys into a flashback. We had this discussion on this show a year ago, and everyone was like, oh, the new thing. It was even more than a year ago. Zombies are out, pirates are in. And it's like, the pirate thing never picked up. Zombies will never get old. Dude.
I love pirates, bitch.
Dawn of the Dead came out in the 60s. Like, it's not going away. I don't know how to say this. I mean, there's an infatuation in anybody who likes anything sci-fi that likes zombies or Walking Dead or.
I think it's also the feel of survival. It's the world that everyone kind of wishes they could be in because you don't have rules or boundaries or you're not held back by society and everything else like that. This is a world that you can go out. You show what you can actually do, how strong you actually are. Destroy if you're mad. Kill if you want. Don't kill. Be eaten. Heck, if you hate someone, have them eaten. It's a world that I think a lot of people kind of wish they could be in. So, and I think that's why it pieces.
Me and you are always on the same page with this. I really have to agree with her. That's something that me and my wife, whenever we're watching Walking Dead, we always talk about that. Like, that's kind of a cool thing. Like, I'm like, you can, in these post-apocalyptic worlds, like, you can actually say, like, every day you're like, I gotta get up, I gotta go to work, I gotta do this. You don't have to do any of that. All you need to do every day when you wake up is live. You need to live. That's your job. Your job tomorrow is to not die. So that's what's a really cool element. The other thing is there's 2 ways to play these games, okay? There's the zombie, and this is what I think was done really well in The Last of Us, and no one else has really done it yet. Dead Rising's done it, but they do it comically. Is The Last of Us, you have the zombie element, and then you have the human element. And the humans are, and it's the same thing with Walking Dead, the show. The humans are worse than the zombies. And it's like, so they're pillaging and killing and doing all these awful things to people.
Yeah. Just survival of the fittest, man.
Yeah, to survive, right? So, like, when you're in a post-apocalyptic, you can put the zombies in if you want or not, even if it's just post-apocalyptic. Your job is to survive, and that is something that is the most. It trumps VR, it trumps AR, because it's something that we all genuinely think about on a day-to-day basis. Like, could I survive in this situation?
Sorry, Mooch.
No, go ahead, Kibby.
I think for like the Days Gone thing, like how like a lot of people might not be playing it or. Just the whole thing there is, like, when they were showing it, they really didn't explain anything. They didn't give you that like hook of, besides like, oh, there's so many zombies or infected coming running at you and you're shooting them all the time. But they really didn't give you that hook like other games do, like the story and stuff, to really get you into that kind of a game right now.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. It looked kind of generic, is basically what you're saying, like a generic kind of zombie game. You know what I mean? Also, let's see. Days Gone in development as classified by Sony. No release year. God of War in development. No release year. Detroit Become Human in development. No release year. Spider-Man made by Insomniac Games in development. No release year. What did you guys think about that? Because that had leaked that Insomniac was making a Spider-Man game. So what's your guys' thoughts on that?
I thought it was interesting. I didn't like the Spider-Man outfit. I hated it, actually.
Yeah, it looked pretty
that
retarded.
White on red just looked stupid.
I didn't really understand it, but maybe there's just some licensing issues or something. But But I mean, it's Insomniac. I'm sure it's going to be a pretty good game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you guys think about like a top flight studio like that who has a well-known pedigree with open world games? Like, because we get so many shit licensed games, like this thing could be really good. I mean, it's
we
not
haven't even had that many shit
I
licensed
actually
games. That
thought
was
the
last
Spider-Man
year,
game
or last gen.
Yeah, I actually thought the Spider-Man game would be like a game movie tie-in, with the new Spider-Man coming next year.
Yeah.
I thought that too.
Marvel. That's what I thought, but like this Spider-Man costume kind of like gave things away.
Well, then they said it has
Kinda
nothing to do
indicated
with
it's
the
not.
movie at all.
Yeah, that's what
It's just an open world Spider-Man. Like Activision used to have the rights to Spider-Man, right? Or something like that. Now, like Sony can make an exclusive one or whatever. I don't know. That's kind of hardball, man. If I'm Microsoft, I'm like, hey, no Minecraft for you. Or no, I'm just kidding.
if I was Microsoft, I would just buy Superman license or X-Men or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think Microsoft really cares, to be honest with you. But now come the weirdest fucking thing that I can never unsee: Death Stranding by Kojima,
Oh my God,
where you get to see Daryl Dixon's ass, like
Norman Reedus holding a baby, and then there's like everything has umbilical cords. And it really made me think of the friggin' movie Pandora. It really did.
Man, it's like one of those things. Like, I'm probably gonna get some hate for this, but I don't really care. But like, they bring Kojima on there like he's some fucking ginormous, like fucking god for some reason, and then he's like the most eccentric dude throwing out this trailer that I have no idea what the hell is going on. It doesn't get me excited at all. Like, I just don't understand it half the time.
Dead fish on the ground and
crabs.
There's like dead crabs, there's dead whales with umbilical cords and all this other crap coming out of them.
But it's artsy.
Norman Reedus has this huge scar down his stomach where his umbilical cord, I guess, used to be. He holds a baby, kind of cries, and then there's like 5 spirits or aliens floating in the sky.
You think he's a tranny or something like that?
Bach.
Well, it was his stomach, so it wouldn't be...
Did he give birth to that baby? Possibly.
I think it was supposed to be like some form of like that was him. Like I think it was supposed to be.
I think I was looking into
mind blowing,
it.
No, but it is a bit crazy just thinking about all this, man.
Yeah, like you're peeling that shit back, man. You're like,
oh, it's definitely interesting. It could be a good game. Who knows, man?
We didn't see anything about it. Like Sony was trotting out anything they could. Right. Like this is like pure CG. We don't know what it's about, what the gameplay is like. They just have Norman Reedus out there bare ass, and then we're supposed to be like, ooh, okay, 2020, we'll see, I guess.
Well, Sony definitely knew about Scorpio. They knew it was coming. They had to just pull everything they had in their arsenal. They clearly, 85% of that show Sony showed is not going to be. It wasn't on the floor. Nothing was on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people were saying last year they're like, oh, this and that, blah, blah. I believe Scalebound was available on the floor last year. Like, nothing was available on the floor this year from Sony except for indies, and then even showing it on the big stage.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
Starburst.
indies.
Oh yeah, I am eating Starburst. God damn it.
Dude, well, I managed to assemble a whole computer while talking on this. So
well, you know, I get fucking cotton mouth even when I drink. When we do these podcasts, like I've been doing so much talking in front of my fat mouth the past few days.
I think that was licorice. I'm a big licorice fan.
Yeah, me too.
I used to like licorice, but that shit...
Then he would eat like the whole thing and be like, "Man, I feel sick."
I go bulimic, man. I just go make myself throw up.
So I was gonna say this new Kojima game. When do you think it will drop? Do you think it's
2019?
19 easy.
At the earliest.
Yeah, 19 easy because Kojima takes fucking forever to come out with a
19
game.
or 20.
And then his games suck.
I'm hearing it's also coming to PC too, right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't get canceled.
He showed a smidgen of gameplay at the 2013 Xbox One reveal. Remember that when he came out on stage? And we didn't get the game for 2.5 years after that. This was a CGI with Norman Reedus doing a commercial break in between his Walking Dead shoot.
Hey, Troy on Twitter says Kojima always looked like he has to poop really bad.
Yeah, he does. He does. Oh, Troy, if you're
at least he improved his English though, man. I'll give him credit for that.
Troy's got a picture of that. It's great.
Did you guys notice that they didn't bring anything out? No Shenmue update. I mean, they had that guy out there begging.
That was.
Well, they probably have him like a street corner now, begging for money.
Yeah, I mean that to me that's weird. Like you're not gonna give an update to anybody.
Yeah, but one thing I'm surprised about is that Kojima game wasn't really a Kickstarter because I thought it would have been.
Well, Sony's partnering with them. They're paying them money.
I was gonna say I thought there was this whole big announcement that he teamed up with Sony.
Yeah, but if they're, like I said, if they're gonna partner up with Kojima, give him money. Why not give Yu Suzuki money? That game is exclusive.
Maybe they don't
too.
like him as much.
Wow.
Just saying. It's you never know. Like it's kind of weird. Like maybe they felt bad because of the whole breakup between the other two last year. Like there's a lot that could be behind it. So.
Hey, you know what? You're true. That you're right. That that could be it. Well, didn't I say I said that they're gonna bring Kojima out there, right? And everybody's like, no, they're like, yeah, fuck off. I definitely said that, right? So I said they're gonna trot his ass out there with some kind of CG bullshit, and the press is gonna love it, and the fans are gonna love it because they feel sorry for this guy because the way Konami treated him, and that's exactly what happened. They're like, oh my god, Kojima! Oh my god, Norman Reedus! Oh,
Kojima-san!
Kojima-san! You know what I mean? And I'm like sitting there like, oh my god, they really do tug at the heartstrings with bullshit, right? Like, you guys aren't getting anything, are you? Like, seriously, tell me this. Who in this room, I know you guys don't even have PS4, so it doesn't even matter asking, but, out there, if you're listening and you're a PS4 guy, what did they show at E3 that you're going to be playing this year? What are you going to be playing? Now, if I go around the room and say, what did Microsoft show at E3 that you're going to be playing, people are going to start naming fucking the Xbox Slim, Recore, Forza Horizon 3, Gears 4, fucking everything. So, I mean...
the crazy thing is, every game that Microsoft shown is a game I'm going to definitely buy. Every single game. Even the multiplats.
Yeah. I was looking at my list today. My list today was fucking... I was like, man, okay, it was Gears 4, Forza Horizon 3, Recore, Dead Rising 4, Cuphead is going to be out, Skyrim Remaster, Titanfall 2, Call of Duty, Mafia 3, South Park.
Oh, man, I can piggyback off that Cuphead game and not have to buy it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Hellhammer's laugh. It's great.
I know, right? Fuck off, Hellhammer.
He's like...
Yeah, bastard. So, so if you guys, I mean, obviously, who do you think won E3?
Oh, it's Microsoft.
Well, no, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Nintendo.
Yeah. Hey, Zelda, guys, right? We got one game, Zelda.
I'll probably pick up Zelda, to be honest with you.
Hey, that game almost sold me a Wii U.
It does. Why? Just get it on NX next year when that shit launches.
You know, I just want to point out one thing. I have to give credit to everybody but EA for the fact that they all did their respects thing to the Orlando.
Yeah, that's true.
You can do that.
Hey, but then again, look, EA's conference, to their credit, they did tweet it out, but it took place right when there wasn't a lot known about it at that time. It happened that day.
And remember that presser was also in London too, so people in London probably didn't even know about it. I mean, Peter Moore didn't even know about it maybe at that point.
Yeah.
He was busy. He was busy schmoozing with some soccer coach or something. I don't know.
He's like, I'm gonna give you that old EA saying.
Get the fuck out of my building. Yeah, I don't know. Theirs was terrible. But overall, look, I want to make it clear. I thought Sony had a good show. They just didn't show me anything that I'm going to be playing this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wish they did.
Or the year after that.
Yeah, for me, it was Microsoft, Sony, Ubisoft, Bethesda, then EA, and then, I mean, if you want to count Nintendo, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to count Nintendo. But yeah, look, I mean, I'm going to get Horizon Zero Dawn, but that will be effectively a year between releases almost, because Uncharted 4 to Horizon. And I'll get God of War when that comes out in 2018 or whatever. You know what I mean? But
you're waiting a long time to play those Sony games.
I know, it is frustrating that they keep announcing these games and they don't have even release years. It's fucking frustrating. You know what I mean?
They can't even give you a year. They should start giving you a rough estimate now next time.
Not even seasons now. They don't even have years now.
I can point to one funny moment though. During Ubisoft, when they did the Division DLC and they showed the Splinter Cell outfit, GKB I think almost had a heart attack thinking that maybe.
Yeah, nope.
Oh yeah, some of Noof Nukem says, "Hey, anyone surprised Sony didn't show anything of the Final Fantasy VII remake?"
Actually, talking about Final Fantasy, did anyone notice that Microsoft and Sony both showed the trailer for Final Fantasy?
Sony showed the VR shit though.
Well, no, they showed the first trailer first. They actually showed the standard trailer first, because then at the end it said that it's releasing September 30th.
Well, Microsoft had gameplay and everything.
Yeah, Microsoft showed gameplay on stage.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's just...
That is a little bit weird.
Got lucky on both stages.
Yeah. So we all think Microsoft won based on just stuff that we're going to be able to get, a little bit more inventive, listening to the gamers. But it is odd. Here's something I'll leave you guys with, because we're wrapping it up. Sony last year in 2015 only released 8% of the stuff that they showed at E3 2015. 8%. That's the lowest out of any company. I have a feeling that this year it's going to be even lower than that 8%, and that's something you guys need to think about before you like sit there and go, "Oh, Sony won, Sony won." As gamers, there's nothing that they showed that I'm getting. No big AAA titles, nothing.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's why I think Microsoft won. They showed a variety in games this year.
Yeah, exactly. And then hopefully at Gamescom, go ahead and show stuff for next year. You know what I mean, or whatever. I'm fine with that. You know?
I think that's really important too, Crap, that you kind of pointed out, is like as gamers, we want to know when these games are coming out. We want to know when we're going to play them. So yeah, we do harp on like show release dates because we want to play the games. Like
or at least a release year. Like they're dangling this shit in front of us. Like wow, you know what I mean? Is this even going to be a PS4 game? Is it a PS5 game? You know what I mean? Like let us know something. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh
but
man, Sony isn't in the business to let you know when the games are coming out.
Yeah, I know, right? But we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Let's see, Mooch, what are you closing with, bro?
Oh, we got Crossfire on Friday.
Who's the special guest? Like, did you get Jesus to phone in, or?
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it to myself. But I do have somebody not this Friday, but next Friday. I do have a special guest joining us again. Hopefully, I think everyone will find him to be a bigwig. But yeah, I try to DM people.
Is it going to be Parasite, who is completely wrong?
No, Parasite is now in the witness protection.
Oh man, they're still trying. They're still about to turn those keys.
GKB, if I get Adam Sessler, that's going to be a one-on-one, and I'll be announcing that from Mount Everest. Adam Sessler is my idol in this particular field. But no, we'll have a couple of big guys. I've got a couple of things. I did speak with Mike Ibarra. I think I'm doing a one-on-one with him. This is not Crossfire related, but he did say he would do a post E3 show with me. So I don't know if he wants to come on. If he'll come on Crossfire, that would be great. If he's just doing a one-on-one, that would be. But he did say he'd come on. So I didn't want to bug them. Everyone who's been watching E3 coverage knows that those guys are running rampant right now. So I was gonna wait till Friday, see what his scenario is. Maybe he'll come on Friday, Crap. So have some stuff ready in the event that he does.
Yeah, well, I'm always good, man. I know how to roll.
You are. Yeah. You don't have to. Me and Crap kind of got that down. People say, "You're gonna be able to do this," and I'm like, because Mikey Barr came on the show. Last time he came on the show, it wasn't scripted. I mean, he just popped into the chat box, and then he came. I threw him a link, and he came in.
Me and Mooch were just like firing off questions left and right, and everybody was tossing him softballs, and I'm like, Scorpio, this, that. You know what I mean? Like, hey.
It'll be fun to probe him because now he can talk about it in fairly more depth than he could before, which is zero.
Oh, so, hell yeah!
We should have that, and then I have another person in the works after that. But yeah, stay tuned, guys. I try to make it a little bit interesting. Plus, we want to bring someone to the table that you may or may not expect me to discuss with. A lot of people like to see me kind of go head-to-head with some people, so I'm doing that as well.
Like Parasite, motherfucker. He got proved wrong. I'm just saying.
He's hiding in Sicily right now.
Yeah. People are like, Crap, I bet you're so happy, man. I bet you're so happy. I'm like, look, it is what it is. The guy was misled or whatever, but he should have just been smarter. I'm not a tech guy at all, but I know that what's in the hardware is in there, and no software update's going to push
it. No, dude, it's got the secret sauce.
No fucking update is going to
coming out to confirm it now.
5.5 teraflop bullshit. Come on, man, get real. Wolf, what do you got, man? Iron Wolf, what are you closing with, bro?
Well, we're just gonna have a few reviews coming up. I have some 360 games and some OG Xbox games.
Because you're on the 360 right now, right?
Well, I'll switch in between. I even play my OG Xbox from time to time.
He's kicking it old school over there.
He is, man. Yeah, dude, man. I see his achievements popping up. I'm like, he played that game wet, and I'm like, does that have easy achievements? It looked pretty easy.
Well, yeah, it was pretty easy, actually.
I have that game, but I never played it.
I have a goal. Obviously not like Rand, but I'm trying to get to 100K by the end of the year.
I hear you, dude, because I hit that, and now I'm like, yeah, man, my next is 150, so...
That 100K club, man. I want to
join that
with you, man.
Hellhammer's closing in too. Hellhammer, what's up, man? What do you got going on?
Well, I'll be back on here next Wednesday, and I should be getting a lot of content up on the channel soon now that I got this computer fucking built. So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Hell Hammer, yes, and you've got your own YouTube channel, so go subscribe.
Yeah, I do.
What is it called, by the way? Is it called Hellhammer Reviews or something?
It's just Hellhammer right now. If you just type in Hellhammer Xbox, it's like the first thing that comes up.
Yeah, if you just type in Hellhammer, it'll just be a fucking drummer, I think.
Yeah, it's true. I just ripped my name off of a drummer.
And GKB. First of all, I want to say GKB and She-Wolf, you guys did a phenomenal job covering E3, like one of the best.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
I
appreciate
appreciate it.
I watched all their shows.
The way they have their set up, where you can actually watch and hear things, it's so much more better than
a hangout.
Yeah, then the way we do it, we're just like jabrones, but we intentionally like talk and shit through it. You guys are just like your reactions kind of quietly, and she was like, "Shut up, shut up."
I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god," and she's like, "Shut your face, shut your face right now."
Hold on, there's actually a whole lot more that was going on in the background that I was getting annoyed with than just that. So, but I can only take it out on him because he won't actually get mad at me. What?
It was so much funner the way we were saying it.
No, because it makes me sound like a mean person, and I'm
No,
not.
it was just funny. No, I just thought it was hilarious. Like, I went back and was watching, and I was like, "Hey, you guys did a really good job with that. I just wanted to give you your props. Like, if you guys wanna sub to a couple people that do a fucking phenomenal job, they were kicking it, like knocking it out of the park."
Yeah, their channel is badass.
It is, and they keep it gaming. Like, I divulge a little bit in the console war, I'll admit, but they pretty much just keep it gaming,
Just a little.
Just a little. Yeah.
Just a little. We're the
Nah,
fucking...
GKB, he keeps it about the games, man.
Yeah. So GKB, what do you got going on, man?
We got the community game time. Like, everybody's been asking me in the chat how they can join. We simply just start up some parties. You guys just join us freely.
Just join in.
Yeah, we're happy to play with everybody. It gets a little crazy. It fills up pretty quick, but we might do 2 chats. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. There's a vote up right now for the game that you guys want to play. There's a few choices, and you guys get to pick. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to see Crapgamer get smacked around by me on a game,
there's a lot of shit talking. There's a lot of shit talking. I'm just saying that. But you got the Shop Podcast this Saturday, Console Corner on Tuesday, and then back on Xbox Nation on Wednesday.
Oh yeah. And then She-Wolf, what do you got going on?
Well, you can find me on Console Corner on Tuesdays. Find me on Gamers Knows Best with GKB, of course. You can find me on community game nights with everybody, ripping people's arms off and smacking them with them.
Yeah, usually winning if we're on the same team, pretty much.
Yes, we usually win every.
I don't know how that happens. That's some shit right there.
Yeah, I know the secrets to Titanfall.
Well, I still usually have higher score than you.
Okay, yes, you do. But
the secrets for any game for Crapgamer playing multiplayer is find somebody who's good and then have them backpack him.
But it's even Halo. Even when we play Halo, like if we're on the same team, we always seem to win. But either way, we still have community game nights, so keep an eye out for that. You can also find me on Twitter at xshewolfx. The O is a U instead, just so people don't get me and Iron Wolf mixed up with the whole wolf thing.
Yeah.
I try to use the U instead of the O. Also, I try to give everyone heads up on each and every podcast that come out, or any major news or anything related to the gaming community and stuff like that. I try to keep everyone updated every day. So also watch for that. And of course, a big thank you to Jay Williams for all the great logos and everything that he provides all of us with, and making us look great. So go check him out and follow him as well.
Yeah, hey, just real quick, Jay Williams had his shirt purchased by Phil Spencer and worn at the Xbox Fan Fest. So
pictures to prove it.
Yep, pictures to prove it. He does great graphics. He built the BGST website, bgstpodcast.com. Go ahead and sign up for all that. I'm going to get back on the forums. I've just been so busy and freaking tired. To anybody that's been messaging me on Twitter, DMing me, or messaging me on Xbox Live, hundreds of messages, I'll get to you guys. I will. Just, I got to have a little bit of time.
It's a crazy couple days, man.
It is, man. It's like, and like anybody that follows what we did on BGST, we did like the pre-show on Mooch, the live show on Next Gens, the after show on mine, then we did the live show. Mooch made out that day, man, because Google wouldn't work for me or Next Gen.
Yeah, I was just sitting there and they're like, yo, Mooch, you want to make a room? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I got like 10,000 or 12,000 views that day.
Yeah. Dude,
hey,
the podcast that we did at the after Microsoft one is sitting at 23,500 on mine right now. So, like people really dig dig what we do. Like, so hopefully you guys can get some subs off that stuff, man. They really like this show too, and I appreciate everybody coming out. And like I said, go sign up on the site. Hit up Jay Williams. Hey, thanks Foxfire and Jay Williams for moderating the chat box today. You guys were keeping it clean. So, Beastfire, you rock, man. Thanks for coming out and watching. Everybody that came out and watched, go ahead and like subscribe to everybody in here. Good content and all that stuff. And we'll catch you guys on Friday on Crossfire and all that good stuff. And then like all these other podcasts. Just look for She-Wolf to pimp out all the other podcasts during the week. So. And my throat's about gone. So yeah, my voice. So I guess we'll catch you guys later. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.